Hello, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League Dad. Oh, it needs to be a bit closer, but otherwise we're all good. Welcome back to Premier League Dad. My name's Key. We are live for Tottenham against Crystal Palace. Little cheeky Tottenham against Crystal Palace on a Thursday night. I thought it was Friday night. Thursday night football. Final Premier League game of the game week. I've done all right, I think, on the old Premier League game week predictions this week. But yeah, all good. How are we thinking? Let me know your predictions in the chat. We've got the team sheets are out on the right-hand side here, so you'll be able to see very, very shortly. No, that's the last five. So you'll be able to see very, very shortly the teams for tonight. If you're watching on the main platform, if you're watching over on TikTok, you get this look. Wayno, how's it going, mate? How's it going? Where are we up to? Bobby, bet you ain't got a girlfriend. I haven't actually, no, mate. I haven't. I don't think I could have a girlfriend as well as a wife and a daughter. I think, Christ, 2 women's enough. 2 women is far too many in my life. I'm going bald with 2. I think 3 would absolutely finish me off, to be honest. Right, sorry, I can see everyone in the chat. How's it going, Malcolm, Ryan? Lovely to see everyone. Where are we? Are we on this one? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so this one's live on Sky Sports tonight, by the way. It is live on Sky Sports. I think, is it? Is it Sky Sports or is it TNT tonight, actually? I'm not sure if it's TNT or Sky Sports. Oh, it's TNT. It's TNT. Igor Tudor rocking a slightly different look tonight. Joe Cole on comms. Right, Tottenham v Crystal Palace. There you go, we're all sorted. Right, sorry, how we doing? Oh, who have we got in the chat on YT? Oxford fan, lovely to see you, mate. Jake, Sarah, as always, great to see you. Jake, 3-star. All the regulars smashing it, love it. Joe, how's it going? What a result for you, lads, last night, Joe. Fantastic result for Newcastle, made up for you, mate. Joe, throat still hurting from last night. I'm not surprised. Did you go the game? Usually you go the game, don't you, at St. James's? So I would have thought you'd have been there. Shell, Key the Vicar, how are you doing? I know. I thought I'd go for a more. Okay, I'm just I'm child of the Lord. Malcolm, I hope Tottenham lose, lad. Why? Why do you want Tottenham to lose? I don't think Tottenham are losing this tonight. I think Tottenham have got a result in them. I think they're going to turn it around and Igor Tudor's going to get his first win tonight. 2-0 Spurs I'm going for. Excuse me. 2-0 Spurs I think tonight. WNL for this key. I can only see one result and that's a Palace win. Palace win even though they've got no Maxence Lacroix. Surely not. Where are we up to? Jabba says we want Spurs in the relegation battle. Why? Is that so it makes it easier to get Richarlison back, Jabba, at Everton for you lads? Mick, how are we? I'm good, mate, thank you. I'm really good. Where are we at? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with everyone in the chat. I apologise if I've missed your comment. Where are we up to? Biz, Key must have been buzzing yesterday with how much he loves talking about Arsenal. We didn't watch Arsenal yesterday. I've still not seen... I saw the goal. I've only seen the goal, but I haven't seen anything else. The only other thing I have seen is the Martinelli foul. I don't know how they get away with that. I mean, to be honest, I spoke to a few Arsenal fans as well earlier today. They said that one was a little bit on the cusp of, VAR should have had maybe a look at that one on half time, because he wasn't even looking at the ball, was he, Martinelli? Basically a rugby tackle in the penalty area. So, but yeah, I've not seen anything else. I didn't watch the Fulham West Ham game. We watched the Man United Newcastle game. That's the only one we watched last night. Jack, FA Cup score predictions. We'll be doing an FA Cup score prediction video on Friday, so if you want to check that out, then you can head over to the main place that starts with Y. You'll be able to see that on Thursday. No, not Friday. Yeah, Friday. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to do my FA Cup preview predictions video. Jabber, I want Richie back. How much do you reckon Spurs would sell him for now? Obviously, you sold him for 50 million quid. If they stay up, I think they'd sell him anyway. But if they went down, you'd probably get him for a bargain, to be honest, wouldn't you? TNT, good lad, where we at? Sorry. Jack says, I think Fulham 1, Southampton 2. You think Southampton can get a result at Craven Cottage? Be a hell of a scoreline, that. You'll have done very well if you get a result at Craven Cottage. Do you think Arsenal deserves to win the league? Yes. Yeah, they do deserve to win. They're the best team in the league. Best team in the league, probably best team in football, if I'm being dead honest. Where are we at? Just bought myself a Forest shirt. Bearded says you'll be supporting Everton against Arsenal next then. Yeah, absolutely. Of course I will. Yeah. Daz says, would you start Rio tomorrow? Okay, yes, we have to start Rio tomorrow. We absolutely have to start Rio tomorrow. You can't be not starting Rio. You just can't. He's got to start now. He absolutely has to start. Timmy, love to hear your opinion, mate, but absolutely no need for the caps locks. Get rid of the caps lock. Love to keep you in the chat. You can't spam with the caps locks, mate. Chill out with the caps. I'm sure the people in the chat would appreciate it. Mick92, Key, want to hear my song, mate? Not really, but I'm sure you're going to tell me anyway. Go on. Alex, why would you support Everton against Arsenal? You're not anywhere close to the title race. No, I know. I just don't want Arsenal to win the league. I've been really clear about that. I think I've been honest about that since day dot. So I'd rather Arsenal not win the league. I think they will win the league. I think they're the best team in the world, but I think I don't want them to win it. I don't think that's not disingenuous or insincere in any way. That's being really honest. I've told you direct. Jabba, why are we shouting? I know. Yeah, I don't know why the auto. Oh, there you go. The auto caps is on. There you go. Sorted. Good lad, Timmy. Good to see you in as well, mate. Should we do a quick Spurs Palace quiz? Because there's quite a few. I was gonna do. Can you name players who've played for both Spurs and Crystal Palace in the Premier League? Players who've played for both Spurs and Crystal Palace in the Premier League. There's quite a few, to be fair. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 players who've played in the Premier League for Tottenham. 15 that have played in the Premier League for Tottenham and Crystal Palace together. Andros Townsend, good answer. Yes, Andros Townsend is correct. Hang on, let me just mark off the ones we've actually got. So Townsend is right, yes. Brennan Johnson, of course, yeah. Brennan Johnson, recent move. So yeah, Brennan Johnson counts. Keep them coming. Who else? Palacios. No, Palacios never played for Palace, did he? Are you know about Wilson Palacios, who played for Wigan? Yeah, Wilson Palacios never went to Palace, did he? Andros Townsend, we've got Brennan Johnson, we've got not Sessegnon. No, not Sessegnon. Sessegnon never played for him. Eze, oh no, that fell through. Hey, I bet Eze's not so glad about that now, though. NUFC Isaac, all right, Key, how's it going, lad? Good to see you, Isaac. I bet you're made up with the result last night. Connor says Chris Armstrong. Yes, Chris Armstrong is right. Chris Armstrong played for both and scored an awful lot of goals for both, it must be said. Chris Armstrong never played for England, though, Chris Armstrong. Player who had maybe a 1 in 3 record in the Premier League, like a really, really decent goal-scoring record. Never actually got a game for England. It just shows you how good English strikers were in the sort of mid to late 90s. Not Southgate, Shell. No, Southgate never played for Spurs. Joel, thoughts on the referee last night, Key? I'd love to hear your opinions. I'll happily share my opinions on the referee last night, sir. I'll do that after the quiz. We'll do it after the quiz. Get your answers in for the quiz. We're talking about Palace and Spurs players. Players who've played for both Palace and Spurs in the Premier League era. Routledge, Adam. Yeah, Wayne Routledge is correct. Wayne Routledge bounced around a little bit between Spurs, Palace, Swansea, QPR. So yes, Wayne Routledge is another one. I hope we build William Asula a statue. Nigel, good lad. It's a must-win game for Spurs tonight. Good evening, Key. Good evening, Nigel. How you doing, sir? Johnny, you all right, Key? I'm good, mate. Thank you. Andy Johnson, not Andy Johnson, Gecko Print. No, he never played for Spurs. He did play for Palace, of course. Wanyama never played for Palace. Andy, big up, Key, my fave Spurs fan. Josh says, all right, Key, lad, praying for the Palace win. Would love to see them lot squabbling down there. I can't see it tonight. I mean, listen, Palace are a good side, but I still think Spurs get the result tonight. Could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. Adebayor, Oxford fan. Yeah, Manuel Adebayor played for both Palace and Tottenham. Everyone seems to forget about the Palace stints for Emmanuel Adebayor. I certainly do. Danny says Dean Austin. Yep, Dean Austin's one. Good player, Dean Austin. Well, decent player. Any more for any more? Come on, keep them coming. Players who've played for Palace and Spurs in the Premier League. You can have one of the players who played for both was at one point, I think he was deemed, was he the most expensive ever under 18 player? The most expensive ever under 18 player to sign in the Premier League, and he was like a wonder kid. Everyone loved him on Footy Manager. His career didn't kind of come to anything. Do you remember him? There's another one who came through the Manchester United Academy, you might remember. There's a fella who does TalkSport now. He's a presenter on TalkSport. There's a fella who used to have glasses, who was like an icon in the Champions League. Used to play wearing glasses. It's a player who plays for Spurs tonight, I think, as well. Edgar Davids, Dyer, yeah. Edgar Davids played for both Spurs and Palace, of course, yeah. Stefan Everson, Ryan, yeah. Everson, I always forget he played for Palace, but what a player he was. Great striker. Genus never played for Palace. We've got Edgar Davids. Balassi never played for Spurs. Andy, I've seen the shite Arsenal agenda. That 30-minute wasted taking restarts. Rest of the article goes on to say 195 other games have wasted the same amount of time. Funny how that was left out, isn't it? No, it's not, mate. It's not. Arsenal have quite considerably taken more time on throw-ins and corners and set pieces and time wasting than maybe not every other team, but certainly the vast majority of top teams. I bet if you compared Arsenal to maybe every other title winner in Premier League history, it would be disproportionately more. I would wager, based off the evidence that I saw, I would wager they would have quite substantially more. Adebayor was on a pay-a-few-play contract at Palace. We've got Chris Armstrong, we've got Johnson, we've got Townsend, Routledge, Adebayor, Dean Austin, Edgar Davids, Stefan Everson, John Bostock as well. Yeah, Bostock's another one. Andy says, no, they haven't, Key. The report shows it. What report? So what reports are you talking about? There was one showed by Terry Flewers, which is literally the most... It's completely out of context. I'm baffled why he's even shown it, to be honest. Because it was from earlier in the season, and it doesn't show what he thinks it shows. Robert Conway, Arsenal rent-free in your head. They're not rent-free. I do charge them rent, believe it or not. And they pay very well. Darren Anderton did not play for Palace, no. Did play for Spurs, though. Fraser Campbell did. Not Tom Carroll, though. Fraser Campbell, yes. Ex-Man United. John Bostock, you've already got. Jason Cundy, yeah. Jason Cundy, TalkSport presenter, played for both Spurs and Palace. You could have also had Conor Gallagher as well. Conor Gallagher is another one who's played for both of these. Obviously, Conor Gallagher. Does he start tonight, actually? I've still not seen the lineups. Let's have a look at the lineups tonight, by the way. Let's read the lineups out. Vicario, Polina, Danzo, Van der Ven at the back, Porro and they've started the young lad. Souza, Brazilian wing-back Souza is starting at left-back tonight for Spurs. That's a bold choice from Igor Tudor. Gray, Sarr, starting midfield, and then it's an very attacking front three of Kolo Muani, Tell and Solanke. Spurs fans will really like that one. For Palace, it's Henderson, Canvo, Riyad and Richards. That's a very dodgy back three. Mitchell and Munoz will help them out. Kamada, Wharton, fantastic in midfield. That has a double pivot. And then it's Sarr, Gesand and Larson. Still not 100% sure on Gesand. Gallagher is right. Yes, Conor Gallagher is right. Who else have we got? Brennan Johnson, Wayne Routledge, Anders Townsend. There's only a couple left and I wouldn't expect you to get them. Zeke Friars is another one who briefly played. Again, he was an ex-Man United Academy product, wasn't he? And Neil Ruddock. Neil Ruddock briefly played for both as well. So there you go. Neil Ruddock is another one. Right. Well, there you go. There's a little pre-match quiz. We've got another one coming up at half-time, obviously. So we can go through that. Where are we up to? Danny, Stephen Colker, Colin Calderwood, Tom Carroll did play. Colin Calderwood didn't play for Palace, mate. Colin Calderwood didn't play for Palace. Stephen Colker, I don't think, played for Palace, did he? I don't think Stephen Colker did, but you're definitely wrong on Colin Calderwood. Stephen Colker, let's have a look at Stephen Colker, actually, because I don't think he did either. If he did, he played for him. No, he didn't. No. Stephen Colker, Colin Calderwood didn't play for Palace at all. Pete, highest percentage of ball in play this season per 90. Arsenal 6th highest, Liverpool 12th. Yeah, this is my point. Is that the stat that you've got from Terry Flewers? It's completely incorrect. Not only is it out of date because it's from earlier this season, it's also completely incorrect because it shows percentage of the ball in play in games that involve that team. So therefore, they're probably only accountable for 50% of it. It's a completely skewed stat. That doesn't make any sense at all. That could demonstrate the exact opposite of what you think it demonstrates. This is why, honestly, they have professional, you have to get a job as a data analyst. You have to be quite intelligent. That's why they just release these stats to, let's be honest, there's some people who interpret stats who couldn't find their arse with both hands, to be honest. And they come out with all these, well, look at this stat, it shows this. No, it doesn't. What are we up to? Will says it looks so steep, the Tottenham Stadium. I think the Tottenham Stadium is brilliant. Welsh Wing, high key, all suited up in black for Tottenham's funeral. I've even got my little dog collar on. Little dog collar, ready for it. Adam said the stat is a list of teams with the time ball is in play throughout the season. Yeah, but think about that stat. Teams can't play on the pitch on their own. They can't play on the pitch on their own. By definition, if you're looking at that stat, it also shows, you could show the exact same table for how teams play against that particular team. Time wasted against that team. So it doesn't show what you think it shows, does it? It literally doesn't show what you think it shows. Adam says, do you think a Brighton manager under no pressure should tell another manager how they should win the Prem? Well, no, I think you can say what you want to say, though. I think if you feel like your team's having a go at time, I think time wasting from a title winning side to that degree is pretty poor. It's a reflection of why Arsenal aren't maybe appreciated as much. And this is why a lot of they'll talk about why it's we get so much stick and everyone hates us. Nobody hates you. They just don't like the way they play. That's all it is. It's nothing against Arsenal, the club, Arsenal, the players. It's nothing against. It's a style of play. It's so cumbersome. It is cumbersome. Bread says, if Spurs lose tonight, serious conversations must be had. Don't like them, but sad to see their downfall. A team so important to English football, and they could be down in the Championship. Sad to see. Listen, I agree, but I don't think Spurs will go down. I don't think they're anywhere close to going down, Spurs. Nowhere close to them. Jabber Key trying to explain nuance to an internet person. I know, mate. I shouldn't even try. I should really just stick to the really simple stuff. Timmy, if we played like how we did in 22-23, would you like us more, to be honest, Key? I'll be honest, Timmy, I don't see a massive difference in how you played between 22-23 and how you play now. Like, Mikel Arteta's philosophy is Mikel Arteta's philosophy. Andy says, it's time wasted in the game restarting from all stoppages. Well, exactly. So it involves both teams. It literally involves both teams. So how can you... That's your own agenda, mate. You're using a particular stat and going, oh, well, it shows this. But you can literally use the exact same stat, the exact same data, to show something completely different. And that's why it's a skewed stat. That's why it doesn't make any sense. And that's why it's flawed. And no serious data analyst would even take it seriously. Adam says West Ham and Forest are staying up, Key. Someone has to go down with Burnley and Wolves. I think Forest are going down. I've got to be honest. Or Leeds, actually. I think Leeds could go down. Leeds probably go down. Jack, you believe stats when you like what it says and waffle when you don't like it. Turn it in. I actually challenge stats quite frequently on this channel. And this is the problem. The people who release the stats on Twitter, usually, or places like that, they'll just put stats out. They're finding stats that support a particular narrative. And they know it's rage bait. It is rage bait. They'll literally put it out to just try and get people to click on it. And it works a lot of the time. And obviously then people go out into the world and have these sort of nuanced conversations about time wasting, when actually the stat is completely and utterly flawed. Where are we up to? Harrison, we played much different footy in 22-23, to be fair. Well, I've heard this repeatedly, but I disagree. I don't think you played all that different. You might have played marginally more attacking, but I think maybe that was... I don't know, maybe that was because it was so... Saliba had only just come in, hadn't he? And you know, maybe it was that. I don't know. But I don't think... Yeah, I don't think it was... Although Saliba wasn't 22-23, was he 23-24 the year after? Either way, I don't think for 1 second that it was any different. Under Arteta, it's always been pretty much this way. Nazza says watching Arsenal is vomit-inducing boredom. Oh, so it's not just me then. Okay. Bread says people do need to stop saying Arsenal have changed. Watch the open play and the exact same. They've just added set pieces to their core philosophy and added some new plays. Bread, what a welcome, what a breaths of fresh air you are. That's a fantastic comment. I appreciate that, mate. I agree. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more on that one. Jack, let's take it from actual people in the game. Van Dijk, hardest Prem season he's been a part of. Jack, I'll be honest, mate, with the greatest of respect, do you think that there could be more to Van Dijk's comment there? Or do you think he's talking about Arsenal? Do you think he's talking about Arsenal there? Maybe he is, yeah. It's not all about you, Jack, believe it or not, mate. I think there's a multitude of reasons why it might be the hardest ever season Van Dijk's been through. And one of them might be that one of his mates died in the summer. It could be something like that. Could also be that Liverpool have had injuries all season. It could also be it could be a multitude of reasons. But you're probably right. It probably is because of Arsenal. Yeah. Fucking hell. Honestly, these people. Mr. Sharpovich says Liverpool's possession per game this season are at an 8-year low on 82%. That's just a fact and doesn't aim to support a narrative. Possession's a completely different thing to time wasting, though, isn't it? That doesn't mean that means we're crap in possession. And yeah, if you play with Alexis McAllister, you'll probably give the ball away a lot more. Welshwing, what are your thoughts on Hösler's comments? I did more research and he's also clashed with Thomas Frank and Pep over their styles too. Is it youth arrogance? It could be. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. Listen, I quite like Fabian Hösler. I think he's been a joy in the Premier League, to be honest. I mean, he's been under a lot of pressure at Brighton. But I think he's a really good manager. And I think there's a big future in the game for him. He's not a million miles away from... Well, they'd need a good run towards the end of the season. They finished 5 points off the Champions League last year. But there's only so often you can keep selling your best players and going again and going again and going again, especially as a young manager. So I think he'll do okay, to be honest. I think if they show patience with him, he'll be all right next year. But as far as his comments go, yeah, mate, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with being an outspoken manager. Probably to a degree, he's protecting his players as well, maybe. Because they've not been on a great run. So all of a sudden now, people are talking about Arsenal and time wasting and, you know, whether there's merit in his comments, aren't they? And they're not talking about the fact that Brighton have only won 2 games in their last 10 or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? They're not talking about Brighton's poor run or the fact that they're much lower down the table. They're talking about Arsenal and the merits of time wasting. Which, again, is good management, isn't it? It's deflection. It's you know, management 101. Bread says time wasting is completely useless as a stat. Teams can jump up the table like nothing if they have one game where they go down to 10 men and have to waste some time. It's mostly redundant. Love that. Absolutely fantastic. Love this. That's brilliant. You come back. You need to keep coming back. I like you, mate. Pride of Merseyside, have you seen the week of April 18th? Chelsea United, 18th of April, 8 o'clock kick-off. And then on the Sunday, 2 o'clock, Everton v Liverpool. And then 4:30, City Arsenal. Some big games coming up. Some very, very big games. Sukhvinder, yes, Key Bro. Hopefully another big game tonight. Good game. Yep, Spurs need to be at it. What do we think? Come on, give me your predictions in the chat. We've got so far, the poll is saying that Tottenham win in the chat. 45% of you have said Tottenham win, 14% say draw, and 41% say Palace win. So it's very much split, actually, isn't it? 45% Spurs, 41% Palace. The chat can't make their mind up tonight. Oh, I've just done that, haven't I? I've just done that. I didn't mean to. Sam said it before and I'll say it again. We're boring to watch, but I don't care as long as we win the title. And that, mate, that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Welshwing says, what's funny is time wasting has been going on for years, relegation clubs, but as soon as it's involved in a title race, it's the end of the world. I hate it, but I hate double standards. I think it's because, and this is to be honest, Welshwing, and we've spoke about this before, but I think it's because we hold our Premier League champions, whoever they may be, whether it's Arsenal, City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, whoever it is who's won it in the past. We hold our Premier League champions to such a high standard. We expect them to play good, attractive, attacking football most of the time. And that's what's been the outlier with Arsenal, hasn't it? That's what people have looked at and gone, they play quite boring football pretty much all of the time. And it's unanimously agreed. It's not like an outlier of an opinion either. Arsenal fans agree with that. So it's that point there. People will look at it and go, whether or not they waste time more or less than other teams in the league, like Breads was saying, I think that's it's a moot point. But I reckon if you compared them, I wonder if they did a statistic. Oh, what a save from Wharton! Unbelievable. Palace nearly in front 40 seconds in. I reckon if you did a statistic looking back at time in play or goals off corners or whatever. I mean, we already know the goals in corners one because Arsenal now hold the record. But time in play, all these different things against previous Premier League champions, I think there would be a massive disparity with it. Smells like a 2-2, says I am a sofa. Reese says 3-0 Spurs. Julius, I bet Julius is feeling confident tonight. Sam says Arteta's taking it back to the Jose era of defence is more important than attack. Yeah, he has to a degree, but I think with Jose you had Lampard, flying forward and smashing them in from distance. You had Drogba, who was just unbelievable. You had really exciting technical players like Joe Cole, Arjen Robben, flying wingers. I think even within that sort of defensive framework that Mourinho had, and he was probably the most defensive manager we've witnessed in the Prem for a long time, certainly in terms of title winners. Yeah, Arsenal don't seem to have that much cavalier attacking philosophy. But they're still winning games, and they're grinding out points and wins, and that's all that matters. I am Crute says, I saw Stevie on TNT say Engamoa has to start now, and he called Gakpo out. He didn't call Gakpo out. What he said was, Rio Engamoa's got to start on Friday, and he's offered him more than Cody Gakpo. And I get that, and I believe that too. I think he does have to start on Friday, but I don't think you have to start him. I don't think he will start against Spurs in the next Premier League game, and I don't think he starts against Galatasaray. So, yes, I think Gakpo may well start outside of the team. Maybe Salah starts on the bench. I don't know. One of them probably will drop out and Rio will come in. Maybe. But we saw both. We saw the good sides and the bad sides to Rio Engamoa against Wolves. And it's another reason why you've got to be cautious with him, because you could argue that Rio Engamoa came on and lit Liverpool up as an attacking perspective, but actually, he also played a big part in us conceding the goal, didn't he? He didn't do what he needed to do defensively. He was jogging back. He was a little bit slow getting back, didn't apply any pressure to his man. He'll learn from that. He's a young lad. But, again, that's the good thing and a bad thing about having a 16, 17-year-old lad in the team, and we've seen that this season. Sam as a gooner, I don't want Spurs to go down. I'll miss the 6 points. And I am Crute says, constantly playing Gakpo over Engamoa will cost Slot his job because we'll lose games. We're not losing games because of Cody Gakpo. We're not losing games. Mate, that's ridiculous. Come on, we're not losing games because of Cody Gakpo. That's just nonsense. That's just abject nonsense. There's no basis in truth of that at all. Cody Gakpo's still one of our best players this season in terms of goal scoring. If we're just looking purely at the numbers, Gakpo's still got more than most. Gamer Guru, we love you. Palace, we do. Arsenal fans hoping for a Palace result tonight. Chapo, first game I went to Highbury in 1984. Wow, long time watching football. I am Crute, the goal more fell on Curtis. You should never have played it back to Alisson. Yeah, but when he did play it back to Alisson, then you've still got Chiesa and Rio stood next to the guy who actually shoots. When he picks the ball up, they're next to him. Why are they not pressing him? And they're fresh on the pitch. There's fresh legs. They've got no excuse. Chiesa and Rio both bang out of order for that goal, and I'm sure Arne Slot told them about it. Welshwing says, imagine at the Etihad in April, we park the bus and Rodri does a Gerrard on Gyökeres. What's a Gerrard on Gyökeres? What would that be? Pride of Merseyside says, I'd go Mama, Gomez, Canate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Naoni, Grav. Naoni against Wolves. Oh, no. No, I wouldn't be starting Naoni. Long throw into the box from Spurs. Cleared away. Strike! Oh, bit of a deflection there from Sarr. It's gone behind for the goal kick. Sam says a Gerrard is the famous slip. He does a Gerrard on Gyökeres. I thought he was on about a tackle there. A Gerrard on Gyökeres. I mean, if it had just said does a Gerrard, I might have thought about a slip or maybe a long distance strike, but I thought he was on about a tackle there. Welshwing, if there's one criticism I have for Slot is his obsession with Gakpo. I think Rio needs to be starting more games. He's got 16 appearances. He's got more appearances than any other player in his age group across Europe. And I think you've got to look after these players. We've talked about this loads of times. I don't understand why there's such a clamouring for Rio to come in when, to be honest, that's not the reason why Liverpool have not won games. A lack of attacking prowess is not the reason we've created more chances than any other team in the league, and we're sixth. Creating chances hasn't been a problem for Liverpool this season. Putting them away maybe, but Rio's not necessarily going to help with that. We've created more chances than any other team in the league. Our problem has been going the other way, midfield and defence. And Rio and Gakpo, respectfully, are not going to change that. Shay, we've got 2 games in the next 40 days. Who? United? Oh my God. One, two, four. Because look at Joshua Abe, our best talent in the youth setup. He'll bugger off watching Engabo rot. How is he rotting, mate? He's got 16 appearances this season. That is more than Trent Alexander-Arnold got under Jurgen Klopp in his first season. How is he rotting? How on earth is he rotting? Breads, I'm a United fan, but now I know you're a Liverpool fan. I've just got to say, Szoboszlai is unbelievable. I think he's absolutely fantastic. What a player. Szoboszlai is very good, but he's rapidly becoming unlikable with a lot of there's cross sections of the Liverpool fan base. He's just trending. He's just looking a little bit more like a Real Madrid player. There's a little bit of almost like the Garnacho stuff that you saw at United. Just stuff that I don't like that. The Her stuff the other night was the tip of the iceberg. But there's just been some other stuff with Szoboszlai. Wonderful player, very talented, absolute athlete. But honestly, I wouldn't be heartbroken if he went in the summer. One, two, four. What's he doing on the bench watching Gakpo stink up the gaff every game? Well, he's not. Evidently, he's not. He's made 16 appearances this season. So he's not on the bench every game. He's made 16 appearances off the bench, more than any other player in his age group. You've got to be careful with players like that. Shay, he's another Garnacho liking Real Madrid posts. Yeah, very true. Joe, why are your fans constantly comparing Slot to Klopp? Feel sorry for your fan base, mate. Don't feel sorry for the fan base. Feel sorry for me. I'm the one leading the crusade, the Arne Slot in crusade. Everybody else is just nonsense, to be honest. Chimey, Hala Madrid. Breads, he does seem like he's... What's that, sorry? He does seem like he's lent into the bravado with the braids and all sorts. Phenomenal football, but I'm inclined to agree. Does love himself a bit too much. It is getting like that. And Liverpool are the type of club we are, we tend to... Not knock players down, but as soon as you start doing that sort of stuff, it gets rubbed out very, very quickly, or it used to. Maybe it won't anymore, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. You can't be putting performances in like that on Friday whilst, rocking up in braids and tagging Real Madrid players and, your international manager saying you've always dreamt of playing for for Real Madrid, sorry. If he wants to go, I will not lose any sleep over Szoboszlai leaving. Jojo, fella gets a hairstyle and you're giving out. It's not for his hairstyle. Again, if you listen to the conversation, you would know it's not just his hairstyle. Trennan, hey mate, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm very good, mate. Thank you. How are you? Lovely to see you. Gamer Guru, Spurs lose 3-2 in extra time would be magic. Well, opening 10 minutes here, does anyone see 5 goals in this one? I'll be honest, I don't see 5 goals in this, mate. I think we've already seen so far it's going to be a game of maybe few chances. There's already a lot of long throws coming into the box. Yeah, it's look at that possession. Tottenham 15%. 15%. 15% in the opening 10 minutes at home against Crystal Palace. That on its own suggests one of two things. Either Palace have been incredible and very dominant, or it's a deliberate tactic from Igor Tudor, isn't it? Maybe he said, let's not press. Let's stand off. Let's allow them the ball. Let's lull them into... Let's set traps. A lot of managers do that, don't they? Let's set traps for them and allow them the ball. Because 15% seems an awful lot lower than maybe you would normally see. And as I said, it's either a huge swing in dominance from Palace and Tottenham have started really poorly, so poorly they're not winning any duels, or actually it's just it's just a deliberate tactic from Igor Tudor. We'll see. Ball across the far post. Palace in the area. Stood it up. Vicario save. Dino, good to see you, lad. How's things? Gamer Guru, where are we up to? Sorry. Bread says, to be fair, for someone who cursed so much about his appearance, Garnacho's hair is atrocious. His hair's atrocious, but I don't know what's gone on since he's gone to Chelsea. He's really fallen away, hasn't he? Nazar, it could mean that they are shit. Well, yeah, could do. Claim for a handball there, but you're never getting a handball for that, are you? Munoz with the strike. Do you know what? If that gets given as a handball, then you might as well just jack the game in now. I'm sorry. Munoz is going to have to go off. I think he's landed funny on his arm. Yeah, he's landed funny on his arm, and I think it is going to be the end of Munoz's night. That's a real blow for Palace. For me, he's maybe Palace's... I think it's his shoulder. Yeah, has he landed funny? Let's just watch this one back. Oh, yeah, he does land very awkwardly there. On his right arm, and there you go. Nathaniel Klein, step forward. Daniel Munoz going off in the 13th minute here at Tottenham. That is a massive blow. For a player who I would consider to be maybe, would we say, I think he'd be probably the second or third best right back in the league, Daniel Munoz. If he wasn't so old, and he's not like old, but I mean like, I think is he 28, 29 now? I think if we were talking about Daniel Munoz at 25, I think he'd have already got a move to a Chelsea or a maybe maybe a City. City could do with a right back. He's that sort of a player. He's good enough, but he's just the wrong side of 27. Cheers for that, Dino. Good man. Thank you very much, sir. Sam, do you think VAR actually improves the game or the refereeing standards? For me, it's made them worse. I think VAR has improved the game in terms of the option to use it. And it has improved the game actually in a lot of places across Europe. If you watch European football, it's used completely differently to how it's used in the Prem. There's nowhere near the sort of delays in many leagues. Some there still are, but I just think the standard of refereeing in England as a whole is really poor. Really poor. Key, what do you need to change for the... Or what do I think will need to change for the Premier League to get back to a better style? Probably a commitment from... Oh, do you know what it'll take? Seriously, a drop in viewing figures. Spurs with a strike, good save. Oh, unlucky, Henderson spilled it, but a good effort that. And it was the young lad Souza, wasn't it? Oh no, it was Tell. Souza played the ball in, Tell picked it up, drove into the box, good strike, and Henderson just spills it but keeps it back, gathers it back in. Yeah, honestly, I think it'll be a drop in viewing figures, and to be honest, I'm not sure if that's that far away. If you have to see teams like, I'm not going to keep saying it, but you know what I mean. If we keep seeing teams like those at the top being successful, playing the way they do, then what will happen is the fans will vote with their feet, and they'll turn the telly off, or they'll watch less of it, they'll engage less. And those metrics are very, very heavily monitored. And if those drop, then sponsorship drops, and the Premier League might incentivise attacking play in some way. I don't know, maybe they'll encourage it. Maybe they'll do something to encourage it. Maybe the new daylight rule that Arsene Wenger is bringing in, maybe that'll change things, because that could actually happen as well. The change in the offside rule, which might well be coming in next season, that could really change things as well. Zach, I've got Simons for 2 shots. Good lad. Bladderball says, what's your thoughts on the increase in rugby scrums on corners? Madness, isn't it? I can't believe that the Leeds one wasn't given as a penalty. Have you seen the Leeds one against Sunderland? That was shocking. But then again, I also think there's quite a few. We saw it in the Arsenal-Chelsea game. There was a couple, wasn't there? Where he was literally dragging him down. And, you know, even the Martinelli one last night, which wasn't off a set piece, I don't think. Martinelli dragged down the Brighton player. That was probably a penalty as well. So there is just a lot of off-the-ball tussling going on now, and that's kind of contributing to why people are like so annoyed, so frustrated, so dispirited with the game. Dan, viewing figures are not dropping, just recorded viewing figures are down for obvious reasons. I'm not saying viewing figures are dropping, by the way. I said that I was asked, what do you think will need to change in order for the Premier League to get back to a better style? I said maybe viewing figures dropping. That might encourage, teams to become more attractive because money talks, doesn't it? Money rules generally. So if sponsorship was to drop, then that might change things. But yeah, I don't know. What do you mean by viewing figures are down for obvious reasons? What are we getting at here? Are we getting at... Is that a dig at the old fire stick? Welshwing, like when Farker was on a losing streak, he went for the 3 at the back, which worked. Not sure why Slot hasn't taken notes. Because we haven't got 3 centre-backs. That might be why. If we've got 3 centre-backs, we can maybe do a bit of that. Madhouse Evening Key, how's it going, lad? Gamer Guru, if you look at every player in those moments, both teams are grabbing players. It is a big problem, but the Prem can't really stop it with 9 games left. I'm sure changes are coming at the end of the season. All it will take, literally all it will take, is the Premier League to say to the PGMOL to say to the referees, listen, we're having a big thing on holding at corners. From now on, every time you see a holding offence at a corner, you give a penalty. It'll happen, I promise you, it'll happen once. It'll happen once, and the team who it happens to will be like so annoyed, so absolutely gutted, and they'll feel really wronged by it. And then no other team will do it again. You'll see holding offences stop across the season. Because it'll only have to happen once. It's the same thing with the corners. Do you remember the goal kick? Like, keepers holding onto it for longer than 8 seconds or whatever it is. Keepers hang on to it for 8 seconds. They're supposed to give a corner. That happened in the early part of the season a lot more than it does now. And the reason for that is because they gave him straight away, the refs. They were dead hard on it. And then I think managers must have said to their goalkeepers, listen, you've got to stop hanging onto the ball. Because if you concede a corner after hanging onto it, you're gonna kill us for it. Prince Rupert, how many keepers have got a yellow card for time wasting this season? They were going to do something about it. Yeah, well, I thought that as well. Again, another claim for handball from Archie Gray. You're not getting handball for that. You're not getting handball for that. Raya wasted nearly half an hour last night. Yeah, there was one, I think the one that I've seen online where I think it was it 16 seconds? Like double the allowed time limit. Andy, new sub-rule trialling in the World Cup. Players have 10 seconds to leave the field. If they don't, the player coming on has to wait an additional 1 minute before he can join the game. I don't know how easy that will be to enforce. Referees already have a difficult job. They'll already have a difficult job, so I don't think that's even going to get enforced, to be honest. Gamer Guru, I think penalty might be a bit over the top, because VAR will then be spending ages deciding what counts as holding. If caught holding, then give a goal kick instead of a corner, maybe. Not sure what's best. But it's not going to be... Holding isn't going to be done by the attacking player, is it? It's never going to be done by the attacking player. It's always going to be done by the defensive player, generally speaking. Aranegi says prediction 1-1 for this one. Okay. Well, so far 0-0. Not really any clear chances in the game. It feels like all we've really talked about is Daniel Munoz going off due to an injury. Couple of handball claims for Crystal Palace. They were never really handballs, and I don't think any Palace players or fans really claimed for them, to be honest. No, it's been a difficult game to watch, really, from both a Palace and a Spurs fan's perspective. I am Cruz. If Spurs lose this, will you change your mind and think they'll go key? No. Even a loss tonight doesn't change things for me, mate. They're still ahead quite comfortably. Well, I say quite comfortably, but they're still ahead of West Ham and Nottingham Forest, and I don't see either Forest or West Ham finishing ahead of Spurs. Could be wrong, but that's my take. I don't think they'll finish anywhere. I don't think they'll finish ahead of him. Andy, next season I want to see more consistency. I'm assuming that means from referees and VAR. You can't though. It's impossible because it's not the same person on VAR. It's different referees. Different people will inevitably see things in different ways. I mean, look at me and you, for example, or us in the chat. Pick any two people in the chat and ask them about a specific incident, whether or not they'd give it or not give it. You'd be surprised just how many people who, having had the benefit of a night's sleep, not having thousands of people screaming at them, not having to make a decision within a split second, and having loads and loads of replays, unlimited replays and angles to watch it back from, still can't decide on the right decision between two people. So this is why I feel a lot of sympathy for referees, actually, because we say we want them to get it right. They've got to get it right. We can't get it right between us. Can we? We can't get it right between us days later with thousands of angles and slow-mo replays and everything. So what hope have they got? They kind of want to hide into nothing, really, referees. I am Crew. Thoughts on... I thought City should have had a penalty yesterday from Selhurst on Haaland, but I've seen people disagree. Yeah, see, I didn't think the Selhurst one on Haaland was, but the one from Elliot Anderson on Rodri was absolutely 1,000,000% a penalty. I am baffled as to why that one doesn't get given as a pen. Welsh Wing, by the way, Key, I'm a lot better and have a half-time quiz. Yes, we've got a Welsh Wing half-time quiz. Fantastic, mate. Glad to hear you're better. And yes, please, yeah, if you've got one. I've got one as well, but no, we'll go with yours. Yours are invariably better than mine, so go on. We'll take yours if you've got one. MUFCJ, if Arsenal win the league, your comments are going to be full of abuse. Hey, mate, it happens. It's all right. It'll be the same whether they win the league, whether they don't win the league. You get abuse. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. People come on. And do you know what? I'm doing God's work. That's how I see it. I'm doing God's work because at the end of the day, these people have 9 to 5s and they've got a hard life and they use football like all of us. Football is an escape, isn't it? And from an anonymous account, they have a pop at a stranger online, and it lets them gets the evil, the bad stuff out their body, whatever it is, So if that helps them in a small way, feel a little bit better that they've said whatever they need to say and they've got it off the chest, then hey, good for them. I don't lose a wink of sleep over it. Welsh Ring, I have a lot of sympathies for refs. Is the same Key that was screaming at the ref in the Wolves game the other night. I wasn't screaming at the ref in the Wolves game, actually. I didn't scream at the ref in the Wolves game. That's not true. I screamed at the ref in the City game, and I apologised for it, actually. But, there's some things that are, I think, categorically... There's some things that I think we would all agree. Like, for example, the only people I've seen say... In last night's game between Newcastle and Man United, the only people I have seen say that wasn't a penalty when Anthony Gordon went down. Was it Anthony Gordon who went down? Bruno Fernandes absolutely flew into him with his knee. The only people I've seen say that isn't a penalty are Man United fans. Everybody else has unanimously agreed that's a penalty. Of course it's a penalty. So I think there is a consensus once bias is generally removed. And we can agree on some things, most things. But there's always going to be those 50-50 decisions, isn't there? Jabber, the fans in the stadium are moaning and whinging over every call and non-call. Pride of Mercy said, Key, you always scream for offside for opposition. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. And to be honest, that's as much due to VAR now. Because we're forever getting offside check. There's always an offside check on every single goal, isn't there? Every single goal is VAR checked for offsides. And I don't like that because that has kind of taken out the spirit of the game, I guess. Because you can't really react to a goal and yes, it's a goal, unless it's like an absolute pinger from 35 yards out, then there's always a potential offside check. Even 35-yard screamers are checked. MUFC says, Carrick's getting far. Carrick got found out last night. He's giving me Ollie vibes. See how quickly it's turning. Gamer Guru, the strike at the end of the United game was a peach, curled it around so nicely. And sure, what about everything else the ref did, Key? So, I thought the ref got the penalty decision right. I can't believe that he gave an extra 11 minutes at the end of the first half when there was only 3 minutes meant to be added on. So I thought he was wrong on that one. I don't know why, because there was no like big injury or any reason to add on an extra 8 minutes. For me, that was absolutely ridiculous. I have no understanding of why 3 minutes turned into 11 and that allowed Manchester United to score their equaliser. So, no, I think that was wrong. And I also think the Jacob Ramsey one was completely wrong as well. There was no claim from Jacob Ramsey at all that was a penalty. He wasn't claiming for the penalty. Falling over on the pitch does not constitute a dive. He never looked around. He never looked at the ref. He wasn't asking for the dive. He wasn't asking for the penalty. So, I think there has to be a very, very clear line on it's a dive or it's not a dive. And that wasn't a dive for me. That wasn't a dive. I thought that was really, really hard. Not even harsh, just wrong. Flat out wrong from the ref to send him off for that. There was no justification to send him off for that. None. Bick Hammer says, Key, how does it feel to lose against the team at the bottom of the league? Same as it feels to lose against anyone else, really. It's not nice. Yeah. I don't know. It's not nice. It's not nice, is it? Whenever you lose games of footy, it's not nice. But that's footy. It's great when you win. It's shit when you lose. MUFC says Newcastle played better with 10 men. In the end, it suited them on the counter perfectly. He played really, really well, didn't he, Newcastle? Yeah, and that's now United have lost against 10 men twice this season, haven't they? Madhouse, Key's not biased. Now what day is it past me my beer? Listen, I am biased. Of course I'm biased. I don't pretend not to be biased. I don't... You're not... nowhere in this channel does it say neutral fucking football. Of course I'm a Liverpool fan. Strike chance for Palace. It must be. It is. It's 1-0 Palace. Is it going to be onside? It's off. I think it's been ruled out. It is offside. Key always asks for offside. Yeah, because it's been given offside. Has it been given offside? No, it hasn't been given offside. He literally looked at the linesman. The referee was staring at the linesman and put his whistle in his mouth. I thought it had been ruled out. Tottenham 0, Palace 1. I'm sure this is going to be offside. Surely. Surely this is offside. He looked miles off. Let's watch this back. It does look like he's off. And the ball gets played in. He's not offside there. There's nothing wrong here. It's this pass in the middle. Oh, little bit Gary Neville, but I think he might be ahead of him there. This is going to be very, very tight. I thought he looked offside. Salah tried to bend his run, but as Gessan plays it in, I think this might be offside, you know. I think it might be offside. It's really, really tough. But Sarr has the strike. It takes a massive looping deflection up and over Pedro Porro and into the net. Pedro Porro kind of bounces into the floor. Vicario's no chance. Really, really unlucky for Spurs. Nothing you can do about that, but I think it still might get pulled back for a VAR check. I'd be amazed if it's not a VAR check. It's a very, very tight one. It's going to be incredibly marginal. Could be on, could be off. My gut instinct when I first saw it was that it was offside, but it might well be on. Let's see. Is it going to go to offside? Is it going to be VAR? We still don't know yet. Igor Tudor's saying it's offside. Sure he would. Yep, VAR check. Here we go. There is a VAR check, and it is very tight. I think he is offside there. I think he's off. Marginal, but I think he's off. It's literally going to be like a toe or a knee It's going to be... Put it this way, with Arsene Wenger's new daylight rule, he would be onside there. He would be onside with the new daylight rule. But with the current offside rule, I think he's going to be off, sorry. He would be on with the daylight rule, but he's off right now, I think. I think this one's going to get ruled out. Chalked off. Madhouse says way off. Broken says no way that's off. Look at it. Look at it. I think he's ahead of the pass. He's ahead of the pass. It's very, very tight. It's very tight. The lines haven't come out yet, so we don't really know. We're going to have to wait and see. Referee's just hearing. If he puts the whistle to his mouth, goal. Goal. No, VAR. Offside. I said it. I said it. There you go. He is just ahead and it is offside. There you go. He's offside. I thought he was. Let's just see what it is. It's his face. It's his nose. Oh my God. It's Sar's nose. It's his left hand and his nose. Oliver Glasner's shaking his finger. I mean, apparently offsides can't be wrong. Apparently it's infallible, that system. But look at that. Yeah, Glasner's going like that. It's his nose. It's Ismail Sar's nose. My goodness me. His nose played him offside. That's how tight it was. We did say it was going to be tight. It was tight indeed. Offside by a nose. Goodness me. Andy, draw the lines, key, but don't tell Robbie Fowler. Love Robbie. What a player. Sean, what about the 5 centimetre rule? What's the 5 centimetre rule? As far as I can tell, if you're onside, you're onside. You're offside, you're offside. I wasn't aware there was a 5 centimetre rule. You can score with your nose, Shay. You can. You can indeed. Thomas Brolin once scored with his nose, didn't he? Oh, big deflection. I thought that was going in then. Matthijs Tel, he's going like this. He's giving it to Steven Gerrard, to the Spurs fans. Getting them up for it. Come on. Bring the Arsene Wenger rule in real quick, says Reese. And 124, the only time the 5 centimetre rule was implemented was when Rashford scored at Anfield. They allow 5 centimetres for a possible error. I don't know. Maybe they've done that with it. I have no idea how they determine it. But, oh, that's a poor bit of defending by Palace. And what a goal that is. Oh, I tell you what, Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner will be tearing his hair out at that defending. That is shocking defending. Absolutely dreadful on that left-hand side. Who is it who does it on the left-hand side? Is it Mitchell and Canvo? Oh, it's absolutely shocking. We'll have to wait and see who actually gets turned here. But the way that he gets turned, the ball gets played across the 6-yard box and it's a tap-in for Solanke. Igor Tudor's men are in front. Dean Henderson's gone chasing the ref. He's got a complaint about something, so there might be another check here. But honestly, I am baffled as to how Archie Gray gets around It's Richards. Richards is the most experienced of all the Palace defenders tonight. I can't believe he gets out of there. It's Adam Wharton as well. Oh, it's so poor, that. It's so poor. Adam Wharton and Chris Richards, hang your heads in shame. How you've let him get out there to put that cross in is amateur. It's not only bad defending, it's absolutely amateur from him. And it's 1-0 Spurs. Dominic Solanke, get in there. Ball out of play. No, it was nowhere near out of play. They claimed it, Shell. They were asking for ball out of play, but it was nowhere near. The ball was at least on the line. It wasn't even like a close call, that one. Ben says that Palace goal was a farce. Howard Webb needs to go. Why? I didn't think it was... I thought that was offside. I thought that was fair enough. Adam Wharton. This is why. I've got my doubts about Adam Wharton for Liverpool. Real doubts. MUFC says, nothing I want more than Spurs to go down, but refs will keep them up. Hang on a minute. Let's just ask that question to the chat. If you're watching this, I'd be intrigued to your opinion. I've got I mean, you know me by now. I, of course, have got a view on it. But I'd be really interested to hear everyone else's view. Do we think there is a genuine agenda and a genuine bias within the Premier League, whether it be with certain referees or with the referees as a whole? Do you think that they are asked or requested to give decisions in favour of certain teams? Do you think there is a conspiracy? I guess that's what I'm asking. Let's put that question to the chat. Do you think there is some sort of a conspiracy with referees in the Premier League? Do they favour certain teams? Whether that be consciously or unconsciously. If you can include that in your answer, I'd be interested to hear. Do you think it's just like some referees don't like certain teams? Like, that's normal, I guess. We've all got our biases. But do you think it's bigger than that? Palace are in. Big claim for a penalty and a red card. Massive claim for a penalty and a red card. And I think it is. It's going to be a red card for Spurs. Oh, Van der Ven sent off. My goodness me, the game's come to life. Palace had a goal ruled out. Rightly, I think. Spurs go up the other end and score. And then just within minutes, they're down to 10 men and it's a penalty. Down to 10 men and it's a penalty to Palace. This is where it all falls to bits. Mickey Van der Ven. Honestly, Ismail Assar, as the ball comes through, Van der Ven, it is a pen, that's a pen. That is a pen, I've got to say. Listen, if we're giving a red card to Maxence Lacroix, I think you got to give a red card for that one. Yeah, he's dragging him back. That's a red card every day of the week. That is a red card every day of the week. Mickey Van der Ven. This is why we don't want him for Liverpool. That is so poor. That is so poor. Absolutely horrendous from Spurs. And that's a big blow. Red card. Mickey Van der Ven off. And a bit like the Newcastle United game last night, we've got a red card in the first half for the team who were in front. Is it going to end up the same as last night, though? Is it going to end up with Tottenham still winning? Or will Palace come round and win it? Andy says, no, I think refs are biased on their own as they support teams and don't like certain teams. Reggie, what a rival to have, makes being an Arsenal fan the most joyous thing on earth. I wish all you rivals had even a glimpse of this joy. Mate, we've had Everton for years. We've got Spurs of the North. Reece says, wait, I thought they couldn't give a pen and a red. No, you can give a pen and a red. Yeah, you can give a pen and a red. They did it in the last Crystal Palace game, didn't they? For Man United. It shouldn't have been a penalty in that one. But this one was. This one was. Ismail Assar to take the pen. Vicario, can he keep it level? Can he keep him in front? No, good goal. Good pen. Very Benteke-esque from Ismail Assar. And it's Tottenham 1, Palace 1. And Palace have got an extra man. Wow, now we've got a game on. Now we've got a game on. Mikey, it's embarrassing the way players are throwing themselves to the floor. Did you not think that was a pen, Mikey? I thought that was a pen. He was dragging him back there. I mean, it was worse than... I mean, a lot worse than the Cunha one, where Lacroix's like... Lacroix lets go of his shoulder outside the box, and then he runs into the box and falls over. Ismail Assar was getting his arm pulled back. He's like that. His arm's behind him like that. He's trying to get the ball. I think that's a penalty and a red card. I think that is where, if I'm dead honest, that is where the referee's done well. You've got to give credit where it's due. Adam says, look at David Coote. There is a certain agenda against teams from certain refs. Yeah, but okay. Well, hang on a minute. Let's look at that on a broader scale then. Let's say David Coote did have an agenda against Liverpool because he didn't like Jurgen Klopp. That's plausible. Now we know what we know, and maybe that's true with some refs against some teams. Even now, I guess what I'm asking then is there anything that the Premier League can do to counterbalance that? I don't know that there is. I guess my point, I don't know if there's any like overall conspiracy. Is there a conspiracy from the Premier League to ensure that certain teams get certain results? I'm not sure. Maybe, I mean, it's plausible. I like the idea. I like the discussion of it. I'm certainly open to the idea, given that you've got the Premier League's chief saying that they want a new winner of the Premier League every 6 years. At least one new winner of the Premier League every 6 years. That does kind of lean into questionable practices, doesn't it? Welshwing, I don't think Coote hated Liverpool. He just didn't like Klopp. Yeah, no, but then if you don't like Klopp, you probably, if there's, like, okay, you don't like someone, you really, really don't like him, and you've got to make a 50-50 decision. It is a bang on the line, 50-50 decision. Could go this way, could go that way. And it's a big moment in the game. I think you'd probably lean towards the way that doesn't suit the guy you're trying to annoy. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying there is that bias there, isn't there? Sousa is coming off for Gallagher, and Sarr is coming off as well for Bissouma. Bissouma and Gallagher coming in. Just legs, bodies coming in for Spurs now. Runners. Wow. A20, what is the name of the club next to the Ajax jersey? The one with the green and black colours. It's not green and black, mate. No, it's just black and grey. It's Malaga. It's a Malaga kit. Craigism says, Klopp was a bit of a Karen sometimes, but very likeable. And Ryok, sorry, was it Ryok? Have I got that right? Sorry, mate. Go back to the rough challenges and let football be football. Stop the diving and soft free kicks being given. Michael Oliver's on City's payroll. Mikey says the Cunha one wasn't a pen. No, the Cunha one definitely wasn't a pen. Really think Spurs go down, says Mikey. Could go down. I'm still not convinced, I'll be honest. I still think Spurs will be fine. I expect Spurs stay up. I don't see him finishing below Forest, West Ham, or Leeds, if I'm being dead honest. Jabba says, imagine when Coote was the fourth official and Klopp had something to bark at him about. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, you could make his life a misery, couldn't you? Prince Rupert, probably why he hates him, to be fair. We've all seen how Klopp can treat a fourth official. And Reggie, I was having a shite day. You can always rely on Spurs to cheer you up, can't you? Dr. Tottenham, isn't it? Dr. Tottenham, that's what they say. A20 Malaga, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Yeah, Malaga kit. West Ham's run is too hard. They'll need a miracle. And Ryok, I think the third place will be decided at Old Trafford between United and Liverpool. Possibly, yeah. Possibly. There's still a long way to go. I think United obviously got to go to Chelsea, haven't they? They've got to go to Stamford Bridge. They've got to play Villa next week. I mean, Villa are not doing great at the minute, but they've got to play Villa next week at Old Trafford. Yeah, they've got to play Chelsea. They've got to have Liverpool at Old Trafford, and we've got a pretty good record there. So, yeah, I think there's a long way to go. And there's only 3 points separating 4 teams at the minute. If I'm being dead honest, I think Villa are the team to miss out. But I wouldn't be massively confident that United don't either. I think Chelsea, if I had to nail my colours to the mast, I think Liverpool and Chelsea are absolute certainties. I think United are 85% of the way there. And I think Villa fall away. Yeah. It's just not a good run in for Villa. John McGinn is a massive loss for him. Ben, is that Ajax 95 to 97? Something like that. Yeah, it's the Champions League winning shirt, isn't it? Ajax shirt. Samuel says, Manchester United is my team since 2008. Love that, Samuel. Sukhvinder says, Key, are you taking Wharton in the summer? I think he's a gem of a player. I like him. I like him a lot. I don't think he's a Liverpool player, though. I think he suits a United, honestly. But I don't think United sign him, because if they sign him, it's a toss-up, isn't it? Between Wharton or Mainu. You can't have both. It's Wharton or Mainu. I don't think Liverpool sign him. No, I don't think. I wouldn't pay, unless we get a really good deal. And I'm talking like 50, 60 million. I might be inclined to pay 50, 60 million for Wharton. Won't go anywhere near it if it was 80, 90, 100 million. Chance. Oh, it's 2. And just as I say that, Wharton gets an assist. Just as I say it, Wharton gets an assist. Bang on half time. Jorgen Strand Larsen. Tottenham 1, Palace 2. And Tottenham with 10 men. Look at the faces of those Spurs fans in the crowd. Oh my God. Oh, it's an absolutely disconsolate home crowd. The boos are going to start ringing out. Crystal Palace needed a win. Dr. Tottenham came to the rescue. 10-man Tottenham, and they can't have any complaints. Honestly, they can't have any complaints. Look at the poor way they give the ball away. Adam Wharton plays it in. It's nothing wrong with that. No offside. Nothing wrong with it. Wonderful pass from Wharton. But Matthijs Tel giving the ball away. Cheap. Sloppy. Wharton plays it in. And Strand Larsen through the legs of Vicario. It's Tottenham 1, Palace 2. Great goal. Reggie, Dr. Tottenham will see you now. Spurs are going down. Ole, ole. They're not going down. I still don't think they're going down. Expressions will be fuming, Key. Spencer, it's funny how Spurs think they can't go down. Class. I don't think Spurs are going down. I really, really don't. I'll still die on that hill, even if they lose tonight. I still don't think they're going down. But they are in a very dark place. I'll concede that it's not looking great, and they have to take that threat seriously, don't they? Sukhvinder says he's class, bro. Beautiful pass from Adam Wharton. He only comes in, though, if we're selling Alexis McAllister. Which I really hope happens anyway, whether he comes in or not. William, I'm loving it. They're going down. I think Leeds are going down, Jonah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's Burnley, Wolves and Leeds, if I'm honest. I've said Leeds all season. I'm still not convinced that Leeds stay up. Daniel, how long will Van de Ven be suspended for? Just one game. Just one game, so he misses the Liverpool game. Yeah. Van de Ven will miss the Liverpool game at Anfield. So, that's good. General says, Key, you've done this before, mate, with Wolves. Always trying to be that one guy who's different. I'm not trying to be the guy who's different. I just think Wolves are a good side. To be honest, mate, I've been proven right, haven't they? Look at what they've done recently. They've done all right recently. I think all I thought was there's still a team there with Wolves. They're not as bad as everyone's saying they are. They're not a side who are, like, worse than Derby County. I saw that Derby side. Wolves weren't it. And I think we've been proven right on that. I actually don't even think Wolves finish rock bottom. I think Burnley finish bottom. So I think Wolves they'll salvage some pride from the season, but obviously it's too late. That'll be the big frustration for their fans. General, but they aren't staying up. No, they aren't staying up. No, but again, I think there was merit to the thinking, wasn't it? You're saying that I said it just to try and be different. I don't think that's true, and I think recent results have proven that's the case. Because Wolves have absolutely played really well recently. I think everyone's given them credit, and quite rightly so. They've done well. And massively to their own fans' frustration that they've only done it late in the season. Formula Prog says Leeds, no chance. They've got some good games left at Ellen Road. They just don't look that strong recently, Leeds. William, I think Leeds survive. I'll go Spurs, Wolves and Burnley. And Adam, so I asked yesterday if you think Spurs are going to be relegated. Want to change your mind yet? No, Adam. No. Will Tudor get sacked or will the suspension be mitigation? Eh? No, he's not going to get sacked after 3 games. No. No, he don't get sacked after 3 games. 92FC says 3-game ban. It's not a 3-game ban. It's not a 3-game ban. 3-game bans are only from violent conduct. He's not got a 3-game ban. 1-game ban for that. It's a 1-game ban. It's definitely not 3. Connor says crazy to think the Tottenham side that managed to get into this Tottenham side managed to get into top 8 Champions League. I think that reflects just how poor Europe's gone as well, though, hasn't it? Ronaldo the GOAT says, Key Wharton, does he deserve to go to the World Cup? Based off the performances this season, I'm not sure, you know. I think there's probably better midfielders for England. And I think the way that the way that Tuchel plays probably suits more of an Elliot Anderson. And I think he might even be more inclined to take Jordan Henderson with him. So I think Anderson, Henderson, Rice are all ahead of Wharton. And I also think he might take Reece James and do as Chelsea have been doing and playing him in that sort of double pivot. Oh, what a goal, what a ball, and what a goal. If it's Adam Wharton who plays this pass, then I take it all back. I take it all back. Whoever plays this pass absolutely makes the goal. And the stadium is empty. And look at all the Tottenham fans on their feet and out the stadium. And it's not even half time yet. Oh my God. Tottenham down to 10. Tottenham 1, Palace 3. They're down to 10 and the stadium is emptying. This is where it might get a bit nasty, if I'm dead honest with you. This is possibly where it gets really, really awful for Spurs. Because the stadium could be empty by the time the second half kicks off. As the ball, it is Wharton. Oh my God. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's Adam Wharton. I am so wrong. I'm so wrong. That pass is ridiculous from Wharton. Oh, what a touch. What a turn. That's unplayable. I've almost got a little bit of sympathy for Spurs there. That's just absolutely unplayable. 10 men or not, that is absolutely sensational from Palace. Tottenham 1, Palace 3, Ismail Assar, 2 goals, and Jorgen Strand Larsen with the other. Game, set, and match. Is that game, set, and match for Tottenham? Water with a sensational pass there. Yeah, look at him. They're flooding out the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is sad. This is really, really sad. Listen, we'll still all have a wonderful time. There's a lot to talk about, I'm sure. We'll talk about it as the second half is about to kick off. We'll talk about it throughout the game. But we will be doing our halftime quiz. Welsh Wings got us a wonderful halftime quiz. He's held his standard up very, very high recently with the quizzes. And he's been poorly recently, so hopefully he's back to full form, back to fitness tonight and with a great quiz at halftime. Sure he will be, every faith. But we've got a halftime quiz coming up and we'll be talking more about Tottenham and everything going on with Igor Tudor. Will he go down? What happens with Palace now? Oliver Glasner leaving at the end of the season. Could Glasner be in charge of Spurs next season if they stay up? I wonder if maybe there's some sort of a vested interest here. But either way, listen, if you're new, if you like this sort of thing, if you enjoy a watch along, we love watching football together. We've got a great community of people. Make sure you've liked, make sure you've followed, make sure you've subbed. And you'll see me again tomorrow for Wolves against Liverpool in the FA Cup, the rematch. Wolves-Liverpool 2. This time it's personal. Right, so half-time, Tottenham 1, Palace 3. Fucking hell. That's so bad. That is so bad. Alex says, where are we up to? Sorry, Savage, free win for Liverpool next match. You think so? Free win for Liverpool next match? I don't think so. You can't always... Listen, at some point, Spurs will turn it around. They will do. I still don't think they're going down. Rasta says Glasner to Man United, Key. Glasner to Man United. Welsh Wing says, right, quiz time. Top 15 players that have made the most Premier League appearances for London clubs only. Ooh. For London clubs only. Let's have a look. Top 15 Premier League appearance holders for London clubs only. Let's get the chat going. 1 second. Right, top 15. I would imagine Kane's one. Kane. Lampard is first. Good answer. Lampard is first. John Terry. If you've just joined us, we're doing the top 15 players with the most Premier League appearances for... Is it for London clubs or North London clubs, did you say? Just London clubs? Is it London? Yeah, London clubs. Oh, Mark Noble. Surely Mark Noble's in there. I'd be astonished if Mark Noble isn't in there. Ashley Cole is 12th. Garov says Wharton, what a player he is. Kane is 10th. So Kane 10th. Ashley Cole 12th. Vieira, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole. Terry is 2nd. Frankie Lampard, you said. Lampard is 1st. Trying to think of players who've played for multiple clubs. Joe Cole, Gallas. Yeah, William Gallas is not a bad shout. Gallas played for 3, didn't he? Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs. Ian Wright. Not Henry or Wright. Yeah, not Henry or Wright. Not Willian. Sol Campbell. Bet Sol Campbell's not a bad shout. Wilfried Zaha. Yeah, maybe Wilfried Zaha. Crespo, check. Most Premier League... Yeah, it's got to be Czech. Czech's 5th. Czech is 5th. Okay. Ismail says, what's the score? Score is Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 3. Sean Wright Phillips. Did he play that much for London clubs? I remember him playing briefly for Chelsea and then QPR, but played most of his career for City, didn't he? Tudor is to do. Rice, Ian Wright, Callum Chambers, Steve Bold. Azpilicueta's probably not a bad shout, you know. Yeah, I bet Azpilicueta's not a bad shout. Right, hang on a second. David Luiz. What about David Luiz? Walcott. Havertz. None of the above, says Welshwing. Did Mark Noble not make the list? Bet Mark Noble's got to be up there, surely. Paul Gascoigne. Gallas. What about Rio? Oh no, Rio only played briefly for West Ham. Don't know where I'm thinking. It's because I'm thinking, like, who's been in the Prem for a long time. Same with Carrick. Defoe. Bet Defoe's up there. What about Jermaine Defoe? Could Jermaine Defoe be in there? Jermaine Defoe played for West Ham and Spurs for a really long time. Bet Jermaine Defoe's up there. No, watched any more games of your favourite club, Arsenal? Have there been any more on? I don't think there's been any more on, have there? Unless I've missed some. Noble was 4th. Sorry, Mark Noble was 4th. What about him who we had the other day? He was in one of my quizzes. Former Arsenal players with the most Premier League appearances. Aaron Hughes. What about Aaron Hughes? Bet Aaron Hughes, he played for Fulham for most of his career, didn't he? We've had Terry 2nd. Yeah, so far we've got Lampard 1st, Terry 2nd, Czech 5th, Noble 4th, sorry, Kane 10th, and Ashley Cole 12th. Who else? Walcott 17th. So there you go, not Walcott. David Seaman. I bet David Seaman's up there. Yeah, surely David Seaman. He only played for Portsmouth after he left, didn't he? Oh, City, sorry, City. Defoe is 14th. All right, brilliant. Okay, Defoe's 14th. What about Aaron Hughes? Not Hughes. Wow. Who else have we got? Who else has been said? Scott Parker. Scott Parker played for Charlton, West Ham, Chelsea, Newcastle for a little bit. But yeah, maybe Scotty Parker. Scott Parker. Could be Scott Parker. Lehman, Merson, Aaron Ramsey, Nigel Winterburn, I can't see it being Jack Wilshere. Ray Parler's not a bad shout, yeah. Romford Pele. What about the Romford Pele, Ray Parler? Could be Ray Parler. Welshwing says not Lennon, Merson, or Parker. David Seaman was 7th. Okay, sorry. Need to keep up with the chat. Paul Merson, no, not Paul Merson. Tom Lad, I am at the game, and as a Spurs fan, I can honestly say the ground is so empty. This is truly heartbreaking, man. What happened to this football club? Wow. There you go, from a Spurs fan in the ground. Good to see you, Tom. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. It is a bad watch. Even on the telly, it is a bad watch. So, yeah. Sympathies. But honestly, I know it doesn't come as any consolation, but I tell you what, that third goal from Crystal Palace, absolute joy to see that pass. That pass from Adam Wharton is open the top drawer, put it in there. Absolutely incredible. Hugo Lloris is not a bad shout. Hugo Lloris possibly. Lloris is 8th. How can he be 8th? You said Parler was 8th. Where's Ray Parler? You said Parler was 8th. Well, Lloris is 9th. Lloris is 9th. Okay, so we've got Lampard, Terry. We're doing, if you've just joined us, the top appearance holders in the Premier League that have played for London clubs. Not that have played for London clubs. The top appearances in the Premier League for London clubs. That's a big distinction, isn't it? Not that they've just played for London clubs in their career. So Rio Ferdinand isn't in the list. But they have to have played in London and played for London clubs in the Premier League for a long time. So far we've got Lampard first, Terry second, Mark Noble is 4th, Petr Cech 5th, David Seaman 7th, Ray Parler is 8th, Hugo Lloris is 9th, Harry Kane is 10th, Ashley Cole is 12th, and Jermaine Defoe is 14th. It's not Martin Keown, it's not Koscielny. Matthew Upson. Madhouse says 4 London clubs. 4. F-O-R. 4 London clubs, mate, yeah. Tom says, I mean, the group was empty. The ground was empty beforehand, even more after the red card. Now it's just pure empty. There's probably about 8,000 here, and the majority are Palace fans. Gallas says, Welshwing, Fabregas is not a bad shout, Shell. Yeah, could be Fabregas. Simon's just said that as well over on TikTok. Good answer, that, Simon. Fabregas could be up there. Dennis Wise as well, not a bad shout, William. What about Dennis Wise? Dennis Wise and Fabregas, Welshwing. Can we add those to the check? Not Willian, not Ian Wright, not Teddy Sheringham, not Kepper. Ledley King, says Sean Patino. Still waiting on Dennis Wise and Fabregas. Zola. Can't be Zola. Zola only joined the Prem at 30 years of age. He was kind of already done when he joined. Heung-min Son. Did we have Son? Yeah. Fabregas, Son, and who else was the other one that was asked? Dennis Wise. Not Fabregas, he was injury prone, and not Dennis Wise either. Wow. Okay, not Fabregas, not Wise. Fabregas was not a wise choice. Michael Antonio. Again, he only came to the Premier League quite late, didn't he, in his career? So I wouldn't imagine he's beating the likes of Lloris and, Jermaine Defoe's 14th in this list, by the way. We're only doing the top 15. So if Jermaine Defoe is is 14th, with the greatest respect, I don't think we're going to see the likes of Gianfranco Zola in there, maybe. Lee Dixon is 11th. Good answer, Lee Dixon. I think we've had that one. Lee Dixon. Brilliant. Heung-min Son, no. Creed. Tom Lad says, definitely going down, and quite frankly, the board deserve it for buying these gutless players. Could only be Spurs to give the captain to 2 players and both get suspended. When it rains, it pours. And you've got Anfield next, mate. If anything, you've got Dr. Tottenham. Dr. Liverpool might just help you out. We seem to be helping everyone out with 3 points at the minute, so you might just turn it around against us at Anfield. Tony Adams is 16th, so he just misses out on the list. I'm surprised about Dennis Wise. Well, Dennis Wise was around for a while, wasn't he? Yeah. But didn't Dennis Wise play, like, he was in the 80s as well, before the Premier League started? I'm sure he was. Welshwing, what numbers are we missing, Key? So, from what I've got Lampard first, Terry second. We're missing third. Fourth is Noble. Fifth is Czech. Sixth, we've not got sixth. Seventh is Seaman. Eighth is Parler. Ninth is Lloris. 10th is Kane. 11th is Dixon. 12th is Cole. 13th we're missing. 14th is Defoe. And 15th. So, by my reckoning, we've got 4 that we're missing. 3rd, 6th, 13th, and 15th. Teddy Sheringham's not right, no. Petr Cech. 3rd was Sol Campbell. Oh, sorry. So 3rd is Sol Campbell. I apologise. I think I said Sol Campbell was wrong earlier. Sol Campbell, 3rd. What about Bergkamp? Tom Ladd says, next joke, Key, you'll batter us 6-0. Mate, we're struggling to score past Wolves, so you lads might do a number on us. We'll just see. Lifted Clement, what was the quiz? Just came in. We were doing, mate, the top 15 Premier League appearance holders for London clubs. Given we're watching Spurs Palace, London clubs. So far, we have got 3 that we're still guessing. We're still trying to find 3 answers. First is Frank Lampard. Second is John Terry. Third, Sol Campbell. Fourth is Mark Noble. Fifth, Petr Cech. 6th, we've not yet got. 7th is David Seaman. 8th, Ray Parler. 9th, Hugo Lloris. 10th, Harry Kane. 11th, Lee Dixon. 12th, Ashley Cole. We've not yet got 13th. 14th is Jermaine Defoe. And 15th, we're waiting on. Oh, Dennis Bergkamp is 6th. There you go. 6th is Bergkamp. So now we're just waiting on 15th and 13th, aren't we? Dennis Bergkamp is 6th. Nigel Winterburn, Johnson, Jermaine Defoe, Mohamed Kudus. Tom says we couldn't get a win if we paid a team to throw a game. We're absolutely awful. It's not Zaha and it's not Ivanovic, says Welshwing. Okay. Neil Ruddock, Hugo Lloris, Zamora. What about Bobby Zamora? Bobby Zamora? Bobby Zamora played for Fulham, played for West Ham, played for QPR in the Prem, didn't he? All London clubs. He played for Charlton. He played for Charlton briefly as well, Zamora, in the Prem. Yeah, I think Zamora's a great shout, actually. Zamora's a brilliant one. Neil Ruddock, again, briefly for Spurs and Palace, West Ham. Spent a lot of his time at Liverpool, though. Not Bobby Zamora. Blimey. Well, we're about to kick off for the second half. We've still got 2 more to get. That might be more interesting than the game, to be honest. But it does seem already, I'll be honest, given the game is about to kick off for the second half, I can already see there are large swathes of empty seats in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A lot of the Spurs fans have called it a night. What a sad, sad indictment of Spurs season that in March, the season's empty at half-time in what could be a pivotal game. And do you know what? Listen, I get it. It's expensive. It's very, very expensive. But I also do subscribe to their thinking that if you can't watch your team, if you can't support your team when they're down, then you don't get to support them when they're up. You've got to show... You've got to support them through the wind and rain kind of thing. You've got to back them when they need you. And right now, you might say, well, they don't deserve backing. But they're still your team. For the next 45 minutes, they're still your team. And I tell you what, they will benefit a whole lot more from a stadium of fans roaring them on than an empty stadium. So if you want to condemn them to a 5 or a 6-1 defeat, then it might well be worth walking home. But you've paid your money, you're in the ground. I don't like the whole leaving the ground early. I've never liked it. Spurs strike. Oh, it's going to be a corner. Boamorte. What about Boamorte? Yeah, Lewis Boamorte's not a bad one. Go on, Welshwing. Give us some clues. John Obi Mikel, 13th. There you go. We've got one. John Obi Mikel, 13th. So we've just got 15th left to get. Who else is there? One to get. Spurs corner, straight out of play. Joel Ward, Gary Cahill. Not a bad shout. JGK, okay, how's it going, lad? Yeah, Gary Cahill. Not bad. Any others? Any others? Gamer Guru, don't worry, it'll be full when the next music gig starts. Paul says there's more on here doing Welsh Wings quiz than what's left in the ground. He can draw a crowd. We know Welsh Wing can draw a crowd, if nothing else. We know Spurs can't, but our very own Welsh Wing can. Cleared away, unlucky. Carlton Cole. Carlton Cole's not a bad shout. I think we've had that one already. Toblerone says next game is Liverpool for Spurs. Man, it's tragic. And Andy says Emmanuel Petit played for Chelsea and Arsenal. He did, yes. But not for a very long time. He was at Barca for a spell as well, wasn't he? Aaron Ramsey. RGGH, my birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday. Many happy returns, mate. Iwobi, Bent. The Arsenal, anyone help me find out what the quiz is? The quiz is the top 15 Premier League players with the most appearances for London clubs. So far we have 14th Jermaine Defoe, 13th John Obi Mikel, 12th is Ashley Cole, 11th is Lee Dixon, 10th is Harry Kane, 9th is Hugo Lloris, 8th Ray Parlour, 7th David Seaman, 6th is Dennis Bergkamp, 5th is Petr Cech, 4th is Mark Noble, 3rd is Sol Campbell, 2nd John Terry, and 1st is Frank Lampard. 15th is the only one left to get. And Joel Ward, it was, sorry, someone shouted Joel Ward in TikTok as well. Joel Ward is number 15. Well done, there you go, there's the quiz. There is the quiz. Not Ljungberg, it was Joel Ward was the final answer. Well done. Enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Welsh Wing. Another wonderful Premier League dad quiz with the community. I loved it. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. And thank you again to Welsh Wing, because I know you've been poorly lately, mate. So thank you for putting that together for us. That was fantastic. Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? I enjoy the halftime quizzes. Well, now, is there a chance at all? I mean, do you know what? Let's just say for 1 second, is there a world where Spurs, let's say Spurs managed to turn this round? I don't think it's going to happen, mind, but let's say Spurs managed to get this back to 3-3. Would there be any credit in the bank? Like, would how much credit would Igor, Tudor and these players get if they managed to turn this round and get a draw tonight? Like, you'd probably look and say, oh, Palace have absolutely threw it away. But I think it's already been... It's like Spurs fans have maybe already condemned themselves in the head, haven't they? I don't like the leaving the ground early. I'm not a fan of that at all. Don't like that. Got to support your team. Jabber, Spurs need a hat-trick from Son. And the Arsenal says, when did the United last play a team that didn't have a man sent off? There's it's been a while, hasn't it? They've had a few. And they've lost twice when they have had men sent off, haven't they? Everton beat them with 10 men, and obviously Newcastle beat them with 10 men last night. Toblerone says, I think Igor's getting sacked, but who can they get now? There's only one man who can keep Spurs up, and I'm telling you, he would keep them up. Daichi! Sean Daichi, get him in. Yes, I think we do need Sean Daichi, get him in. I'm telling you, Sean Dyche would keep Spurs up. 1,000,000% he would keep them up. JGK says, sets a horrible precedent for Spurs, I can't lie. JGK, every time I tell myself Spurs won't actually go down, but they defo are. Can't see it. I still can't see it. JFC says Neil Warnock would keep them up. Neil Warnock's just took a job, hasn't he? Apparently Neil Warnock's the new manager of Torquay. Antoine says, nice to see you represent the lesbian community in football, Key. Cheers, man. I do my best. I try and do my best. Paul O'Brien, Big Sam. Big Sam, he's even taking work at the minute. Gamer Guru, if Spurs come back from this, I'll give them all the credit, and shame on the fans for leaving. I can't see Spurs bouncing back. They lost world-class players and replaced them with mediocre ones. replaced a lot of them with really young players as well. I think that's been the problem for Spurs. Injuries and inexperience. They've had too many players they've sold and replaced them with kids. A little bit like what Liverpool have done, if I'm dead honest. Liverpool have sold experience and replaced them with kids, and injuries have hit, and that's the worst combination, to be honest. Spurs have a lot of young players. They do, yeah. Lots of, and they're not bad young players either. Like, you know, if you wanted to, if Spurs somehow managed to go down and there was a fire sale, there'd be a lot of takers in the top 6 for the likes of Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall. I'd quite happily have Kulusevski at Liverpool. And I think there's a lot of players, to be honest, who I think the top 6 would look at and go, you'll have them, no problem. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad group of players. I think there might be a mentality issue, but I think there's a lack of experience and a lack of leadership. They've not really got any captains there, have they? They need... Do you know what they should have signed? Honestly, they needed to move hell and high water for someone like Jordan Henderson in the summer. If they'd have gone and got themselves a Jordan Henderson in the summer, they'd stayed up. The standards and leadership. Even James Milner. Someone like that would have been absolutely phenomenal for Spurs. Conor Gallagher is maybe the next best thing, but even he's lacking, like... He's not really a leader on the pitch, is he? Gamer Guru, you can't lose Harry Kane and Son without buying some top talent to replace them. I feel sorry for the defenders because Romero and Van de Ven can be decent with a top team ahead of him. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's world-class ability at Spurs, isn't there? Andy, I'd take Maddison and Kulusevski. I mean, listen, if you had Maddison and Kulusevski, just look at the players they've got injured. Maddison and Kulusevski have barely played this season. Put Maddison and Kulusevski in this team, they're nowhere near the bottom 3. Nowhere near. Just those 2. Kulusevski, quality. What happened to Kudus? Kudus is injured as well, yeah. I mean, again, other players that if you put them on the market, I think Mohamed Kudus would get interest from top 6 teams. I honestly wouldn't mind Mohamed Kudus at Liverpool. Maybe not as a starter, but yeah, backup, absolutely. He would be one of our bench players. I think he would do just as good a job for us as, say, Madueke at Arsenal, or, you know, someone like even Doku at City. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's maybe not a starter, but a bench player you can bring on in key moments. Kudus would do a good job for Liverpool. I'd be happy with him. Kulusevski, I think, could even potentially grow into a starter. Lucas Bergvall too. Lucas Bergvall's one of my favourite Premier League players. Got loads of quality, Spurs. They just need a manager and a leader on the pitch to try and get it out of him. So it might well be that maybe they do. Maybe they pull the trigger before the end of the season. Andy, I'd choose Jared Bowen over Kudus. I would as well. Jared Bowen's incredible. I'd love it. If West Ham do go down, and I really hope they don't, but if they do, yeah, I think Liverpool, I would love it if we moved hell and high water to try and get him in. Jared Bowen's incredible. Back post, Spurs, Tell, got to get the shot away. Too late. Poor that. Too late. Charlie says Kulusevski will move back to Juve in the summer. How much would he cost, though? With the injury record that he has, I don't think there's any doubt, really, over the quality of Kulusevski. He's just not really fit enough, is he? Gamer Guru, if they let Ange buy the players he wanted, Spurs would have a pretty scary team right now. And Shell, they don't seem to have any fight with 11 men or 10. Do you know what? Is it a lack of fight? Is it a lack of fight? Or is it... I honestly think if you're looking at this as a Spurs fan, you'll be really upset. But I think in the cold light of day, you'll look at it and go, Spurs were 1-0 up. They were 1-0 up in this game. They went ahead. They did what they needed to. They were 1-0 up. The team were doing really well. And Mickey van der Ven makes a mad decision and puts them right in it. And from that moment on, the game's changed. Game's completely different. It's 1-1. They're down to 10 men, and it's a matter of time. And from that moment, actually, Palace did play really well. But when you've got 10 men, it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be difficult. But I don't think it is a lack of fight. I just think it's a really, really bad individual mistake from Mickey van der Ven that puts him in real danger. And that's what I think Igor Tudor will look at and sort of curse the skies with. It's not a terrible lack of passion or anything like that, in my opinion. I'm sure people will disagree. I don't think it is a lack of passion, because they've come out second half and had a couple of half-decent chances, Spurs. They've just lost their heads. Or rather, they've not. One player has lost his head and cost the rest of the team. HK says Spurs have too much quality to be fair, so they mostly stay up. We'll be surprised if they do go down. Me too. Paul says Spurs are playing better second half. They are, aren't they? Sandy, will Spurs get relegated? Not for me. No, not for me. Charlie, reckon Van der Ven would be perfect for Barcelona. High line and the high defensive line. I think he'd do well. Yeah, wherever he goes, to be honest. The Arsenal says Eze goes missing in too many games. We need Martin Odegaard 10 back in and back to his best. A lot of Arsenal fans telling me that they want to sell Odegaard in the summer just to try and get more. This is it. A lot of Arsenal fans looking at like, oh, we need to go and get Morgan Rogers and all this in. No chance Arsenal make any attacking signings in the summer unless they make big, big sales. And I don't think there's any appetite at the club to make those sales. Maybe Trossard will go. But you're not selling Trossard and replacing him with Morgan Rogers, are you? It's the same sort of thing with... well, it's not actually. But Arsenal have got a unique problem in that sense next season, because I don't think there's a lot of players... They've got too many players in the attacking positions. And there's going to have to be a big, big call on a few of those. Jabber says Gray looks frustrated. He's liable to lose his head. 3 Star says Spurs have been shite for the past 2 seasons, Key. That's a recipe for relegation, surely. Yeah, I mean, you... hang on. They weren't great last year, but they were also about 11th or 12th, were they? I think, going into the last few months of the season. And they focused... Ange Postecoglou talked about this on the overlap. He said we deliberately deprioritised the Premier League for like the last 2 or 3 months of the season. So they finished 17th. They knew they were never going to go down. They were nowhere near going down last year. It wasn't a relegation battle. Despite finishing 17th, they never ever were close to going down. Palace in the box. Here's Strand Larsen. Wharton. Strike. Unlucky. Yeah, they were never close to going down last year. They weren't brilliant in the league. But I think the fact that they switched off and focused on the Europa League and won it, by the way, was a big thing for them. That was smart management from Ange, and they got it done. I don't think they should have sacked Ange this season. That was a big mistake. That was mistake number 1 from Spurs. They should have kept Ange. Palace in the box. Oh, just wide. Unlucky. Yeah, I don't think they should have sacked Ange. Luke says Archie getting bodied again. Bless him. Gamer Guru, I wish we went for Semenyo over Madueke, to be honest. And Ronaldo says, Key, if Crystal Palace don't win the Conference League, I'm losing a lot of my money. But Palace will almost certainly win it. Hein Hutang says, Xavi Simon and Kudus are bad signings now. Do you think? I think they're good signings in the right context, in the right system. They're not bad players. They are good players, Xavi Simons. But they're not going to fit into this Spurs side at the minute. Unless they've got the rest of the players around them, the fit squad around them. The Arsenal need 3 players in the summer of real quality. You strengthen a position in a position of strength. Don't know. It depends, mate. Well, it'd be interesting to see how the summer goes. Jabba says, Key, what's going on with the overlay comments on the screen? I don't know. Why? What's happening? What do you mean? Comments are fine, aren't they? Maybe it's just glitching every so often. It goes off. It stops whenever someone deletes a comment. So if a mod deletes a comment, then the comments go off for a second and then it refreshes. Refreshes. The Arsenal says, I can't understand how we are top of the table. We lack creativity and ball retention's very poor of late. Nathan says, Key, if you could turn the clocks back, would you have had Semenyo at Liverpool in January? Yeah, of course, I would have had Semenyo in January. I think the problem with that is I don't think Semenyo... It would have been a short-term fix to a long-term problem. And if you offered me Semenyo or Elise, or Semenyo or Jan Diamand, I would take both of the latter. I wouldn't take Semenyo over those two. But yes, in January, of course, I just don't think he would then be a backup for us. Because, yeah, he's a very talented player, though. He's a very, very talented player. Of course, he would come in, he'd have started over Salah and Gakpo. But I think Liverpool have got a plan with those wide areas. Got a plan with those wide areas in the summer. And I think Elise and Jan Diamand seem to be the two that are being mentioned an awful lot. Plus, obviously, Rio Wengamoa, we have to give him game time. So, Rio, Semenyo, Elise, Diamand doesn't quite work when we've probably got to keep Salah next season as well. Jabba says the game is so riveting, I'm worrying about the screen overlays. Semenyo's been an outstanding signing. Yeah, Semenyo's been brilliant. Toblerone won't get Elise out of Bayern. Why? What makes you say that? What makes you say we won't get Elise out of Bayern? Wouldn't be surprised. A lot of teams circling him, and to be honest, Elise's... I don't think Bayern's a particularly attractive club to be at anymore, to be honest. For a certain type of player, for a player who could be the best in the world, could be, you're not going to win a Ballon d'Or at Bayern. Nathan said, Van der Ven is a big blow for Tottenham to lose. Rehan, why would Elise leave Bayern for Liverpool? Well, same reason, I guess, most players would leave Bayern for Liverpool. I mean, Wirtz chose Liverpool in the summer, didn't he? They're a team that wins. They're a team that, invariably wins things. They're a very attractive club for a lot of players. Wow, Skater Chick, come on. 2 more Spurs. Just 2 more. Elise's got it good at Bayern. He plays and got a good manager. Well, I think there's a limit to what you can achieve at Bayern Munich. And once you've won the Bundesliga, you're not going to win the Champions League with him. I don't know. I think maybe he stays. Maybe he stays. But there's certainly links to a lot of teams in the summer. It wouldn't surprise me if Elise left Bayern. And obviously Liverpool are probably the most high-profile team looking for wingers in the summer. Like Chelsea are overloaded with them. If United get Champions League, United are pretty much taken care of in the winger positions. Arsenal are overstocked on wingers. City are pretty much overstocked on wingers. I don't think there's really a space for... In the Premier League, I think there's only Liverpool who are the obvious choice. Could go to Barca maybe, but they seem to be taking up Rashford. Rafinha's there, Yamal's there. I don't personally think Barca are an option for him. Certainly not Real Madrid either, with Vinny, Rodrigo, and Mastantuono's out there, and Arda Güler quite frequently plays out wide as well. So, yeah, no, I don't know. I just feel like Elise to Liverpool seems to be probably the most obvious big move in the summer. If he is going to leave Bayern, then it's probably that one. Gary says, if Tottenham got relegated and had to support another team, would you support Arsenal or West Ham? Have to choose. I mean, I'm not a Tottenham fan, Gary. I don't know if you've got it wrong. I'm not a Tottenham fan. So, yeah, I don't know. That question probably doesn't apply to me. Julius might be best placed to answer. Julius is a big Spurs fan. Hein Hutang says, we have good managers in the past, Jose and Conte. We should sell Kane to City. We should have sold Kane to City. We should have spent on a quality midfield and a goalkeeper. Palace driving forward. Gesand over to the right-hand side for Sarr. Spurs just block it and get it away. I think it's offside. Archie Gray comes away with it. Life of Justin says United looking for a left winger this summer after midfield and fullbacks get sorted first. United looking for a left winger? How are they going to accommodate Cunha and Burmo, Sesko, Ahmad? and this new wing. Yeah, you're not getting a new winger. United aren't getting a new winger. Got far too many. If anything, Dorgu will be pushed further forward. If anything, they might be signing a left back. Dorgu's been brilliant playing further forward. So I imagine it's going to be Dorgu, Cunha left side, Ahmad and Burmo right side. With Sesko through the middle. They might, yeah, I can't see United signing a winger. I'd be amazed if United, certainly not like a first choice starting winger. The Palace match is 3-1 to Palace. Rehan, would you consider changing manager in the summer if Liverpool finished below 5th? I wouldn't, mate. No, I wouldn't sack Slot if he finished 8th. I don't think where Liverpool finished this season matters whatsoever. I have absolutely no concern about Liverpool under Arne Slot at all. I think he's done a really, really good job with the issues we've had to deal with. Spurs into the box, strike, unlucky. Yeah, so no, I personally don't, but I think the club would make a change if we don't finish in the top 5, and I don't think that's a problem. I think we'll quite comfortably finish in the top 5. But yeah, if we don't, then I could maybe understand the club doing it, but I personally wouldn't. If it was in my hands, I wouldn't. Bleach Demon says, will it be classed as a quintuplet if Arsenal does the quad and Spurs go down? I think they'd be quite disappointed, you know. I'm telling you, I've never lived in a time where Everton or Man United were sort of not in the Premier League and we didn't play them every 2 years. But there was obviously a time where United were lingering around the relegation zone, and there was a time where Everton, many times where Everton have lingered in the relegation zone. And I've thought about this many times. Would I actually want them to go down? And I really don't. I actually think it's funnier from a rival's point of view to see him sort of constantly circling the drain. You know, it's almost the hope that kills you. That's the famous phrase with Everton fans. It's the hope that kills you. And it is. It's always the hope that they'll do better next year, and then they just never do. That's funnier than them going down and having like a big reset. Because actually that's sometimes what improves clubs, believe it or not. Sometimes it can kill clubs off, but sometimes that can be the thing that like transforms a club and they come back stronger. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think Spurs go down anyway. Butch Jonah, is this a reflection of the season? 2 bad teams playing in an empty season? No, I think it's a reflection of Spurs' expectations this season. The club did not communicate strong expectations to Spurs. Every Spurs fan I spoke to at the start of the season, every single one was saying to me that they're hoping to finish in the top 6, top 8, like compete for Europe. They finished 17th last year. Now, I don't think they were in a relegation place, but I don't think relegation battle rather. But I still don't think Spurs, even if they had all their players fit, at any higher than maybe 9th or 10th. Oh, unlucky Palace, nearly 4-1. Spurs aren't any higher than 9th or 10th, are they? They're just not. They're not that team. They're not higher than 9th or 10th. And that's being really ambitious. So, where are we up to? Toblerone, Everton could get Europe. No. Nathan, would you have Glasner if Slot went? No, definitely not. Definitely not. John says they're only 5 points below you. If they finish above you, Slot would surely walk. I think Slot might walk. I think it's more likely that Slot walks than he gets sacked, if I'm honest, because he's been sold down the river. He's been really let down by the club. Christopher says, I was lucky this year. The first one was on my birthday. I had a broken ankle, so couldn't do much. What are you up to, sorry? Shell, we're only 5 points behind you, Key. Yeah, but you're not, listen, you're 5 points behind, but like, look who else is 5 points behind. If you look at the Premier League table, Everton aren't like breathing down our necks. Everton are 5 points behind us, but Brentford are 4 points behind us. Brentford don't get Europe. Everton and Brentford don't get Europe. Bournemouth, Fulham, Sunderland, they'll probably look at it and go, do you know what, Bournemouth, Sunderland and Fulham would look and go, even if Newcastle maybe. Like 9 points is doable if they go on a good run to the end of the season. Everton aren't breaking a 5-point, bridging a 5-point gap in 8 games, or 9 games rather. No chance. Not given the fact that they've still got to play us at the Hill Dickinson as well. Julius, what was your predictions for where we finish at the beginning of the 25-26 season? I can't remember, you know. I honestly can't remember. Oh, claim for the penalty. Oh, he's given a free kick. He's given a free kick to Spurs. But I tell you what, Strand Larsen saying I'm first to the ball. This could be a penalty for Palace. Ball comes in. Oh, nah, it's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. It's not a free kick either. Toblerone, why is it called Hill Dickinson? Because they are sponsored by Hill Dickinson LLP law firm. Don't be scared, Key. Not scared. You're scared. Christopher says Spurs have needed someone who can make the players play as a team, and at the levels they should be. I think 9th and 10th is a fair level for the players. They don't have, or they have, the owners are idiots. Yeah, I think so. I think mid-table is kind of where Spurs are, and they had much greater sort of expectations internally, it feels like. And maybe that's why, because, like I said, they're not, as bad as it is, it's one of them with Spurs. It's never quite as bad as you think it is. It's entirely feasible that they were to, let's say they got a load of players fit back. They could win 4 or 5 games and potentially the like 12th, 11th, 12th. And that's kind of where we would all put them. I do. I think there's a real possibility that Spurs go on a bit of a run to the end of the season. They can't keep having capitulations like this, though. But I think it all stems from one bad decision. The Mickey van der Ven error. Once Mickey van der Ven drags him down, it's a red card. The game's gone. The game's done. And it's so hard for him to recover at that point. Shay, why do you think Spurs stay up, Key? West Ham and Forest have better squads. No, they don't. No, they don't. Be silly. West Ham and Forest have better squads than Spurs. No, they don't. Come on, mate. No, they don't. If you're doing a player for player, West Ham, Forest and Spurs, there's absolutely no chance. Not a chance you'd have more players out of West Ham and Forest than you would of Spurs. Maybe you look at like your Murillo, your Gibbs-White, Elliot Anderson. But then Spurs, player for player, Spurs have much more. Much, much more. Same with West Ham. How many West Ham players get in a Spurs team? Not many. Jared Bowen. After that, you're struggling. Mateus Fernandes, maybe. And again, if Spurs have got the players fit, I don't think even necessarily Mateus Fernandes gets in. The Arsenal, is Jurgen Klopp still unemployed? No, he's not employed, mate. He is the director of football for Red Bull Football. Pedro Porro having a tantrum. Life of Justin says, thinking Spurs will go on a run with Tudor and these current players' mentalities. Why do you think it's a mentality issue? I just don't get why people are thinking it's a mentality issue when they've not actually played like all that terribly today. They just haven't. Like, it's one... They were 1-0 in front. They were 1-0 in front, sent off, and a red card. Red card and a penalty. As soon as that happens, 1-1, the whole, like... And then Palace score 2 really, really good goals. Playing against 10 men is really, really difficult. Playing against 11 men is really, really difficult. And especially when you've just gone in front. I can't imagine how... those Spurs players will have been feeling when they've already felt like they've probably had the luck go against them a lot of the time this season. I don't think it's that bad of a performance, this. I really don't. It's not that bad of a performance. Terrible results, but not that bad of a performance. The Arsenal, what's Red Bull Football, Key? Red Bull Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Bragantino, New York Red Bulls, I think even Leeds are somewhat loosely affiliated with Red Bull now, so it's a company that own lots of football clubs. Somerville would walk into this Spurs team, says Prince Rupert, and Danny says yes, Jimmy Somerville. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't see Crescencio Somerville in this Spurs team personally. Christopher says, if you don't win against Forest, you definitely go down. This is the team that may save you. If you don't win against Forest, you definitely go down. This is the team that may save you. Well, they've got a couple of games. Still time, I think, for Spurs. Couple of games that you look at and think, let's have a look at Spurs fixtures to the end of the season. Hang on. So they've got Atletico Madrid away in the Champions League. They then play Liverpool away. They then got Atletico Madrid at home in the Champions League. They've then got Forest at home. Absolutely, that's a 6-pointer for Forest. For Tottenham and Forest, to be honest. They then play Sunderland away, difficult one. Brighton at home. Wolves away. They've got to look at the Forest game and the Wolves game as 6-pointers. They then play Aston Villa away. Not necessarily the end of the world, that one. They could get something there. Leeds at home, again, 6-pointer. Chelsea away, tough. And then they finish the season at home to Everton. I think they could get something. They could maybe get 3 points out of Leeds, Everton, Wolves, and Forest. Even if they only get a point out of some of them and maybe pick up points like at home to Brighton, maybe away at Sunderland. That'll be enough. They don't need that much to stay up, Spurs. They really don't. Couple of wins, couple of draws, they'll stay up. Yeah, couple of wins, couple of draws. John says, forfeit if Everton finish above you. If they do, I'll buy you an Arsenal shirt with Rice's name on the back and you have to wear it on a stream. Everton will not finish above Liverpool. Like get that thought out your head. It's the same. I'll have the same thing with Salah leave. Salah's not going to Saudi in the summer. Like loads of Liverpool fans have said that as well. He's going to leave. He's going to go to Saudi. He's not going to Saudi in the summer. The guy's not going to Saudi in the summer. I would stake my very limited reputation on it. He's absolutely not going to Saudi. Jabber, whoever sold the Prem these radios, is the scam artist of the season. It's a Del Boy job, innit? Dodgy batch of radios. Dodgy batch of radios. Spurs going down, says Dennis Kilgore. Very popular opinion, that tonight. Foxy says, first time I had Spurs to be relegated was when they appointed Tudor. Such a suspect move. Would have been better off leaving Frank in charge. Would they maybe just hoping for that new manager bounce that maybe United have had and Chelsea have had and just kind of, let's just get a new face in and try and lift everyone? I don't think you will either, Julius, for what it's worth. Where are we up to? Adzo, do you think Liverpool will beat Spurs in the next league game? For what it's worth, I thought Liverpool would beat Wolves in the last one. So, yeah, I think we'll beat Spurs. We tend to do all right at Anfield, but hey, who knows? That's why football's interesting, isn't it? John, is that a yes key? Better suggestion, an Arteta Everton shirt. Oh my God. I've got to wear an Everton shirt if they finish above us. I'll do that. All right, yeah, fine, I'll do that. The Gout says 3-1, have Spurs been terrible? No, they've not been terrible. They haven't been terrible. It was one bad moment in the game for Spurs that changed the entire game. Tottenham were 1-0 up, they were winning, and then Mickey van der Ven concedes a penalty and gets sent off in the process. At that point, it's 1-1. They're down to 10 men, and Palace just controlled the game from there. Couple of quick-fire goals, 3-1, game set and match. It's been over pretty much since half-time. The stadium is, I wouldn't say emptied, but it's a lot emptier than it was at the start. Lots of Spurs fans left at half-time. Difficult night for Tottenham, but I really, really don't think it's that bad of a performance. It's not. There's things that Spurs can take heart from tonight. The big issue for Spurs was Mickey van der Ven making a huge error at half-time, and it just killed it off. Red cards always ruin games. Well, yeah. Yeah. Totally ruined the game. Christopher says if Spurs go down, they lose all their players and go down again. I'm not sure they will, you know. Foxy, have you rated Tudor in his previous jobs? Always thought he was a guy that when things go badly, he blames everyone else, and he's already started that at Spurs. I mean, he has done quite well in a couple of his previous jobs, hasn't he? Did was it Lecce? He was at, did very well at Lecce. He's done well in Italy. Obviously got the Marseille job and walked out after a few, was it 8 days or something like that? He was gone very quickly. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's not a bad manager. And he was the best of a limited bunch that they could bring in who would accept the job on a 6-month basis. I think every manager that they could have got that would have been like an immediate improvement would have wanted the job on a semi-permanent basis. Like, at least give me like 2 years. I want a 2-year contract. And if Spurs know, which I think they do, they already psychologically know they've got Poch lined up in the summer. Or maybe Glasner lined up in the summer. They've got someone lined up in the summer. They only want a manager to the end of the season. And I think when you go to market and you say to all the available managers, right, listen, we only want someone who'll accept a 6-month contract. If you do really well, you might get it permanently thereafter, but you're only getting it on a 6-month basis. There's a very limited number of managers who are interested at that point, and Igor Tudor was probably the best of a bad bunch. Will says, Key, what are you seeing from Tottenham that genuinely makes you think they'll stay up? I just think the quality of player they have. I think the ability that they've got within the squad far outstrips anything that Leeds, West Ham or Forest have. And that's it. That is it. I think they have got the ability to produce in moments in ways that those teams don't. But again, I could be wrong. Christiantus Uche. It's going to be a corner to Palace, is it? No. Sarr picks it up. Far post. Crap. Terrible ball, that. Poch might still go for loyalty, but would Glasner go to a championship Tottenham? I really don't think they're going down. Christopher Hooper says the question is, where does Somerville and Bowen go? I wouldn't want Somerville at Liverpool. I don't think he's that... Apparently Somerville was linked to Spurs for a long time, wasn't he? If West Ham get relegated, Somerville and Bowen would leave the club, says Ronaldo. Yeah, Bowen, I would hope so. I'd like to think Bowen wouldn't stay at West Ham. I'd love him at Liverpool. He's a fabulous player. Will Igor Tudor get sacked, says Julius. Chat, what do you think? Do we think Igor Tudor will get sacked? I don't. I think they've given him the job to the end of the season. They kind of have to now. I mean, Marinakis sacked Ange Postecoglou after 8 games. There's only been 3 for Tudor. That's a foul, ref. That's a foul. Foxy says, I think Terzic would have been the type of manager that gave Spurs a bounce in results and keep them up. Forest and West Ham stay up for me. Do you think Terzic, again, would Terzic have accepted the job on a 6-month basis? So that's the crucial point, isn't it? Gamer Guru says quality maybe, but the players want out. They have fought with fans and the manager already throwing the team under the bus. I think the quality players want out and don't want to keep Spurs up. Well, listen, do you know what? Then it's a test of you know, just how ambitious are the board? Do the Spurs board, are they like me? Are they eternal optimists who look at Spurs and think, nah, we'll be fine? Or are they starting to worry? Are they starting to panic? Like you guys who are maybe, the majority in the chat do feel like, I'm getting the feeling that you guys all think that Spurs are goners. If that's the case, Tottenham could maybe revisit the manager market, because I'm sure they had conversations with other managers who said, I'll take the job, but only on the basis that you give me a 2-year contract. I want the job permanently next year. So you have to give me it now and give it me next season as well. And I don't think Spurs wanted that. And then as soon as you say I'm only doing it for 6 months, it limits that pool down. And the best they could have got was Igor Tudor. So Maybe they do. Maybe they go back to the market and say, well, I bet Amorim would have took the job, wouldn't he? Amorim would have had it for 2 years. He was desperate for a move back into the Prem. Zolo says, if Liverpool finish outside the Champions League spots, do you think it'll affect the transfer plans or limit spending? No, not at all. We finished outside of the Champions League spots under Jurgen Klopp in 22-23. We still went and signed Szoboszlai and McAllister and Gravenberch. We spent a massive amount of money to get those three. And to be fair, those three won us a title. So, yeah, no, I don't think it affects spending. I don't think it affects transfer budget at all, really. Liverpool are a very well-run club. In terms of financials, anyway, off the pitch, whether or not we invest more, we tend to be reluctant to invest from a position of strength. We always invest when we need to invest, and we do quite well. But when we actually do well and we're on top, we don't want to spend much money. When we won the league and we got to the Champions League final under Klopp, I think we only signed, was it Adrian and Harvey Elliott? Like they were and Arthur Mello on loan or something like that. We've had a really bad run whenever we've actually needed to sign players. When we've done well, the board have just never backed us. Gary says big teams to get relegated: Leeds, West Ham, Forest or Spurs. Will be a good ending to the season. Who would have predicted that? Not many. 3-star says, just like at Forest, no matter how it plays out, West Ham will have to sell prize assets, even if they stay up with the financial mess that the Hammers are in. And Jabba says, I can see the relegation battle going down to the last day. You and me both, mate, yeah. Elijah, do you want Tottenham to get relegated? I don't really want anyone to get relegated. I mean, sure, I know you have to have 3, but I don't feel strongly about, like, I really want them to go down or I really want them to stay up. I'm just watching it because I enjoy football and I love watching footy. And I love chatting with you guys about footy and having quizzes, and that's what we do here every day. The Arsenal says, what age is Bowen? What would it cost to buy him? I think he's 20. Is he 29, Jared Bowen? He's 29. I reckon if West Ham went down, they'd sell him for about 30. 30 million, I reckon you could get a 29-year-old Jared Bowen for. I Am Crew says, it's not a sexy name, but Spurs should have gone and got a Dyche. But doesn't that tell, like, Spurs fans would have hated the appointment of Dyche because it would have subconsciously told them the board think we're in trouble here. And they are, but I don't think they like to think that. I think they would have thought of that as a negative appointment. I think if they'd have gone and got like an Amorim, or if they'd have gone and got a, I don't know, maybe a Terzic, yeah. Someone who's done well on the continent before, that's more of an ambitious Spursy type of appointment. But it's not necessarily conducive to keeping teams up in the division, is it? Sean Dyche is like a break glass in case of emergency type of guy. Foxy, what do you think about the new championship news? Not sure if you've mentioned it. Extra teams in playoffs from next season, I think. I've not seen... Well, I've heard about that rumoured. I didn't know it's been confirmed. What exactly does that look like, mate? I've not seen the confirmed news. I just heard there was discussions about expanding the playoffs. Is it 7? Is it 8? 7th and 8th now get into the playoffs? I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. Jabber, should it be a rule that attacking players have to stand behind the 6-yard line for corners? Yes. I'd like to go back to a time where, it used to be that, like, putting a hand on the goal, even just having a hand on the goalkeeper was a foul. Now, I don't like it, but I prefer it to what we're seeing. Because we're literally watching rugby at the minute, aren't we? Jabber, there's a chant going around the stadium, sarcastically, I assume, saying, ole, 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 Igor, Igor. BJN, who would you like as Van Dijk's replacement going forward? Would you consider Van der Ven? No. No, I don't like Mickey Van der Ven as certainly not a Van Dijk replacement. There's better Van Dijk replacements, I think. Well, let's be honest, you're not going to replace Van Dijk. You know, there is no such thing as a Van Dijk replacement. Whoever you get is a downgrade. I am Cruz. Is it only the Championship for those playoffs, or is that for League One and League Two as well? I've no idea. I'm waiting on Foxy. Creed's just said, yeah, it's confirmed, Keith. 3rd to 8th is now playoffs. Probably just a money-making thing. Yeah, I think, and it must be, I'm sure, if that's an EFL thing, then it probably will extend to League One and League Two, which is fascinating for next season. That's going to be brilliant. Playoffs will be wonderful at the end of the season. Oh, that's horrific. That's terrible from Xavi Simons. Oh, that's unforgivable. Giving the ball away so cheaply. Gary, West Ham have got Man City next. Come on, you Irons. And Foxy says, I believe it's 5th versus 8th and 6th versus 7th. One-off games, then the winners play 3rd and 4th place teams in the semis. Ooh, okay. I'll take that. Bailey, Mustafi's better than Van Dijk. Saliba's a Van Dijk replacement. I know, but we're not going to get Saliba out of Arsenal, are we, to be fair? And even he's nowhere near as good as Pete Van Dijk. Gary, nice chatting, everyone. We'll all meet again. Yes, Gary. Cheers for the chat, mate. Lovely to see you. Take it easy, lad. I am Crute. Is Xavi Simons the worst signing of the season? My mate said Isaac, but he's been injured. No. You can't have that. Surely not. I mean, listen, I think Xavi Simons has been a good signing and will prove to be a good signing. I think the problem is the expectation placed on him. Again, he's a young player. He's a really young player. So, yeah, no, I don't think he's a terrible signing. Ball all the way back to the Spurs goalkeeper. There's only 60 seconds or so left. I tell you what, he might genuinely be up there. Evan Gesand for Villa, but he's not far off. Evan Gesand for Villa would be not a bad shout for worst signing of the season. He's been bad. Diakite for Bournemouth as well, 35 million quid. He's been shocking. I mean, Ugachukwu, 30 million quid to Burnley. It's not great, is it? Ugachukwu not great. Jamie Gittins, 56 million to Chelsea. But Jamie Bino Gittins is probably the one if we're looking pound for pound in terms of value. Garnacho's probably not far behind at 46 as well. Brennan Johnson, 40 million quid. Full time here at Spurs, and there's plenty of boos ringing round the stadium. Lots and lots of unhappy Spurs fans. Not really a surprise. But I genuinely think by the time the morning dust settles, I think it's a bad result, but it's not a terrible performance. I really, really do believe that. I truly believe that as an outsider looking in, it's not the worst type of performance from Spurs, that. It's a dreadful result, not a terrible performance. You've got to remember that as soon as Mickey van der Ven gets sent off, the game's done. And when the game hinges on such a big moment like that, I kind of feel for the other 10 players on the pitch then, and even the players on the bench coming on. There's going to be probably remonstrations in the dressing room at full time, because I'm sure they'll be looking at Mickey van der Ven and going, lad, you put us right in the dung there. You put us right in the dung. Kulusevski, the only man who could save Spurs. Will, are you going to do Cardiff v Lincoln 12:30 on Saturday? I'm not, mate. No, I'm not. I am I'm at my little girl's birthday party. Yeah, so I'm not going to be doing the Cardiff Lincoln game. Graham, bye everyone. See you all tomorrow. Wisser easily. Johan Wisser's probably not far away. Yeah, Johan Wisser's not a bad one. Dennis, the fans don't look as confident as you do. Kieran says, I'm a Chelsea fan and we play Tottenham the second to last game of the season. What I would give to relegate them. Foxy says, now my only issue is second place teams in the National League still don't get automatic promotion. I think that's unfair. I'm sure national teams promoted have never got relegated from League 2 in the first year. That's a good point. That's a fair point. Does Voltemade have a shout? He's fallen off recently. He has, but yeah. No, I wouldn't include Voltemade. He's not the same as like Bino Gittins or Diakite's been a bad one for Bournemouth as well, and Guessand, I would say they are some worth looking at. The Arsenal, what FA Cup games are you doing on your lives, mate? I'll be live, Saturday I am doing Wrexham Chelsea, followed by Newcastle against Man City. Sunday I'm not doing any FA Cup games, I don't believe, if I remember correctly. Hang on a sec, let me just check. I don't think I'm doing any FA Cup games on Sunday, because Sunday we're doing Rangers against Celtic in the Scottish Cup quarter-final, Old Firm. That's going to be a big one on Sunday. Followed by 8 o'clock, the Milan derby, AC Milan v Inter Milan. 2 massive games on Sunday. None of the FA Cup ones I'm doing. I was gonna do the Leeds Norwich game, but I'm gonna swerve that. I'm gonna do Newcastle City Saturday night, Rangers Celtic 1 p.m. on the Sunday, AC Milan Inter Milan on the Sunday night, and then on Monday it's West Ham against Brentford, which is the final FA Cup 5th round tie, isn't it? And then we're back to the Champions League. Loads of games next week in the Champions League. Galatasaray, Liverpool, 5:45 Tuesday. Newcastle, Barca, 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, we're doing Leverkusen against Arsenal, which is 5:45, followed by Real Madrid against Man City, 8 p.m. So yeah, we're back to 2 games a day pretty much next week. Tomorrow we're live though for Wolves against Liverpool. That should be a really, really big, important game. I am praying that I am not all over the fan reaction channels tomorrow. I really don't want to be all over the fan reaction channels again tomorrow. Hopefully I'm on them for the right reasons tomorrow. For Liverpool having gone through. That's what I want to see. We can't be going out of the FA Cup having already been beaten against Wolves. If we get beaten twice by Wolves in 3 days, fucking hell. We can't do that. We can't do that. I can't even think about that. I cannot even think about that possibility. Foxy says Sunday Keys doing the Burundi Cup final with Pacific as ref. Yes, mate. Don't miss out. Dark days for Spurs, says T-Bliss. And Andrew says sack Tudor, get Harry is the only way Spurs stay up. Get Harry into the end of the season. He might take him, you know. He might just go in for the goal. I'm Cruz says I'd have Chachua from Wolves in a heartbeat. He looks like he had some quality. I thought Wolf as well would have been one. City Red says the game's on BBC One tomorrow. Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, the Liverpool Wolves game. Mike, cheers for that, mate. Thank you very much, sir. What are we up to? Callum says, up the pool, of course. Archie Gray had a good performance. And Gamer Guru says, hey, fan reaction channels can flood some good viewers in. That's how I blessed you with my company. Well, that is true. Yeah, I am thankful for I have nothing to do with the fan reaction channels, but as you know, sometimes when they do them, we get a lot of people flying in. That does mean some trolls, some Reggies fly in. But occasionally, we get a lot of nice people like yourself, mate. Even Arsenal fans. A lot of nice United and Arsenal fans have come as a result of seeing me go mad on fan reaction channels. And then they stick around and they're nice. We have good footy chat for a while. It's good. I enjoy it. I'm very lucky to watch football with you lovely people. And tomorrow, listen, we'll be live again, 7 o'clock tomorrow. Liverpool, please don't let me down. Wolves v Liverpool tomorrow night. Have a lovely night, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow. Enjoy your whatever's left of your Thursday night. Commiserations to Spurs. Ta-da. Take it easy.